Alright, so today we're going to be doing the thing that everybody's been asking me to do for quite a while now. Season 2, What to Learn at Every Rank. The reason I'm doing a Season 2 iteration of this, I already have a previous video. You can feel free to go check that one out. I'll maybe leave a card up at the top or some shit, so you guys can check it out for yourselves. The Season 1 iteration, but I think this one's going to be more important because some things have changed for Season 2. Not a whole lot, but I mean, enough to where I think it's warranted to make another video about this topic. The rank discrepancy is a bit different from Season 1. I feel as though, this is my personal opinion, I know some people may disagree with this, but I feel as though the ranks have shifted, and that has a lot to do with the meta, right? The meta has changed completely. In Season 1, the guy on the left side right now that you see there was top tier. Dragunov, Yoshimitsu, Nina, Jin, Clive, like those guys were definitively the best characters in the game. There was almost no argument, undisputed bullshit there. You know, like they're absolutely, definitively the best characters in Season 1. Now, we've got a completely different set of top tiers. Clive is still very much top tier, still a busted mess, but there's a whole assortment of other characters that are absolutely nuts right now. So the meta has completely shifted. All the characters are in a different spot than they were in Season 1. Some characters got exceptionally stronger, some characters got much weaker. Namely Kazuya. In my opinion, Kazuya is far less equipped to deal with Season 2 than he was to deal with Season 1, just because of what this game was all about back then versus how it is now. Things are a lot trickier now. Ranked is a lot more of a nightmare. Yes, there is the ranked win streak increase, so if you win 3 wins in a row, you get a slight point increase. If you win 6 wins in a row, you get a major point increase, and if you get a 9-win streak in a row at the rank that you're in, below the rank of Bushin, which is the majority of the Tekken player base right now, you're gonna get like 6,000 points plus per promotion, or per win after that, not promotion, sorry, which is gonna like skyrocket you through the ranks super fast. So what they've done with the ranked system is they've made it so that Smurfs, essentially, people that are way higher ranked than they should be, than what they're playing at right now, maybe they started a different account, or they're using a sub-character, and or whatever it may be, they're going to fly past the ranks that they are obviously not at, because they're going to get 9+ win streaks every single time, and they're going to get immediately to the rank that they deserve to be at. As soon as they hit Bushin, those points, the rank point accumulation for the win streaks ceases from that point on. You don't get any more win streak points as soon as you hit Bushin rank, the final blue rank in the tier list. But there are still things to be said about blue ranks from Season 1 versus blue ranks from Season 2. I genuinely feel, after watching a fuck ton just now, just as I was about to do research for this video, a fuck ton of blue ranked, purple ranked, red ranks, orange ranks, yellow ranks, and the beginner ranks. Just see how they play. And I watched different people from different demographics all over the world. I got 10+ matches-ish, just to get a small sample size of how players like to play at these ranks, and what I think that these ranks should entail, and what people should be learning at these ranks. Now, let's get one thing out of the way real quick. There are going to be people in the comments that say, well, I got my character to fucking Fujin and I didn't learn any of the shit that you're telling me about right now. Well, yes, that's going to happen sometimes. Sometimes you're playing a character that's so effective online that people just do not know how to deal with online. And they're going to be very good at getting you to the higher ranks. Maybe sometimes even ranks that you don't typically deserve, because you're piloting this character, and the character is doing a lot of the work for you, and then you hit this brick wall, because now you're in a rank where you just got promoted, and all of a sudden, people are like, wow, I don't know what to do against this player. He's dealing with all of my strings that I've been using this entire time to great effect, and now I've gotten the Fujin rank, and this guy's ducking my strings and like sidestepping my shit, and what do I do? I'm sorry, but you've allowed yourself to fall into the trap of picking an easy character or picking an effective character and just letting the character do its thing. Now you're going to have to learn how to play Tekken, unfortunately. That's just what happens when you get to that spot. Everybody's going to hit that wall. Eventually, you're going to hit the wall. Whether you play a crazy hard character like Kazuya or a ridiculously easy character like Victor or Alisa, you're going to hit that wall at some point. Sometimes it's earlier ranks. Sometimes people hit the wall at red ranks. Sometimes people hit the wall at blue ranks. It really depends on what you're on who you are as a person. Where you live has a huge part of it. Sometimes the opponents that you get in your region are just the opponents that you're able to beat, and then other opponents in different regions that other players are fighting at the same rank as you they seem to be a lot more difficult to beat, and I'm noticing that a lot. Like if you watch a lot of South Korean matches or you watch Japanese matches, I'm noticing the purple ranks in those geographic regions are pretty talented players, and then you watch purple ranks in, say, Europe or America, and they're struggling. They're struggling to grasp the concept of Tekken, the basics of Tekken. So I want to clear things up, and I want to try to establish the Season 2 iteration of what to learn at every rank, okay? Because this is where I think, if you want to if you want to have a steady climb in Tekken, and you want to pace yourself, and you want to learn this game inside and out, then this video is for you. If you're just playing this game to have fun, and you're just playing it with your friends, and you don't really care, this video is not for you. You don't need to watch this. You can watch this for entertainment purposes, or maybe just for educational purposes, but if you don't care, that's fine. I genuinely believe that most people that clicked on this video are probably wanting to rank up in Tekken and learn the game and do well. They want to continue to win, they want to continue to enjoy themselves, and there's only a few ways you can really do that, right? You're gonna have to learn the game properly. So, without further ado, let's fucking jump into it. We're gonna start off with the beginner ranks, and that means that we're going to include beginner, first dan, second dan, fighter, strategist, and combatant. That is beginner ranks, including silver ranks and teal ranks. Okay? So, at these ranks, from the first video I made about this in Season 1, not much has changed here. This is still the beginner level status of the game. You don't know what you're doing yet, you don't know who your main is, you're just trying out characters, you're figuring out what the buttons are. I highly recommend that in order to, if you really want to know what the buttons are and what binds mean and what certain things like 1, 2, 3, 4 means, like what's 1 plus 2 mean, what's 3 plus 4 mean, you know, these are things you're going to need to learn. What does down forward mean? What does down mean? What does forward mean? What does back mean? What does down back mean? What does up back mean? These things are important to know. So there's a video. I'm going to leave a card. It's going to be like right up there somewhere. Right now. I'm going to leave a card. Click on that shit. That's a video that I made a year and a bit ago. One of the first Tekken 8 videos I made on this channel about what notations mean and how to use them in the game. So watch that video, cycle through it quickly if you don't have time to watch the whole thing, and just get to the part where I'm explaining what all the notations mean. Okay? Because that's going to help you out immensely in this game. It's going to be a one-time thing. You only need to watch it once. You only need to remember it for one time, and it's a very simple formula. 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's only 4 buttons to memorize. Usually you only have 4 buttons on a controller that you need to worry about. So, and then worrying about button binds, like combining 1 plus 2 together into one button, that's perfectly fine. It's even legal in tournaments. So, that's something you also need to learn. What is a proper button bind? How do I get that to work on my controller specifically? Like, for example, my 1 plus 2 is bounded to my L1 button, my 3 plus 4 is to my R1 button. My heat burst, heat smash button is R2, and I have L2 at 1 plus 4. So, if you're able to find a button bind system that works for you, you don't have to copy mine exactly, but once you figure out what the buttons are, then feel free to combine them however you like, whatever's comfortable for you. Learning those things is very important at these ranks. Just the main thing I want you to focus on at these ranks, if you truly want to learn this game, if you want to get good at this game, Dylan, I'm talking to you, my real-life best friend. He wants to learn Tekken. He's a beginner. He has no idea what he's doing yet. He has no concept of the basics of this game. Tekken is a difficult game. He's a Street Fighter fan. He's a Mortal Kombat fan. He's a Tekken fan, but he doesn't really know anything about Tekken. If you're in the same boat as him, you want to learn Tekken, but you don't know anything about the game, find out who your main is. That's the number one step in the beginner ranks. Learn who you like. Who's your favorite character? You have to pick, unfortunately, one for the beginning. If you want to learn this game, again, if you just want to screw around, by all means, play whoever the fuck you want and play all the characters if you want. If you're just button mashing all day and you're just trying to have some random fun with your friends at parties or some shit, cool. Pick all the characters. Don't learn the game, just fuck around with the characters. That's your prerogative. But if you want to learn how to play Tekken, you got to stick with one character for the time being. Eventually, you'll be able to move on past that and learn 2 or 3 or 4 characters that you love, and you'll have a lot more fun with the game because there will be more variety. But every time you choose a different character, you're setting yourself back a great deal, because your main character has so much complexity built into that character. Every single character in this game has a ridiculously long move list. Different movement capabilities, different sidestep capabilities, different backdash abilities. Every character has a different sized hurt box, be it the tiniest difference to a gigantic difference between, say, comparing like Xiaoyu versus Kuma. Kuma has a massive hurt box. Kuma can't really sidestep because he's such a wide beast. Xiaoyu, she's so tiny that she's almost impossible to hit, period. She has an inherent advantage by being very, very easily evasive, by not even really doing anything. She just needs to exist on the screen and some shit whiffs against her because she's so tiny. So, and other characters have that same situation. Like Alisa has a very small hitbox, not quite as small as Xiaoyu's, but it's quite small. Same with Reina. They have quite small hurt boxes. Kazuya has an average-sized man hurt box. Dragunov has a large man hurt box. King has a quite large man hurt box. You know? And then Jack and Kuma have massive hurt boxes. These things vary. So every time you choose a different character, you are setting yourself back because different concepts apply to the character. Not something you're going to worry about when you're at the beginner stage, but something you'll definitely have to worry about and something you'll run into as a problem down the road if you continue to pursue this game in a passionate way. So those are things you need to keep in mind. And on top of that, the massive move list discrepancy. I mean, if you have one character that's got 150 moves and you haven't really learned anything about the moves, and then you immediately switch to the other character that you like, and you have 150 plus moves, and you have no idea how to use those sets of moves, now you've got 300 fucking moves to learn. Stop overcomplicating things for yourself. That's way too much information. You're going to forget half of it before you've even learned it. So, if you're sticking to one character, you're making the game 1,000 times easier for yourself. I promise you that. Pick your character, find out who you love, try to stick with them to at least learn the basics of this game. The simple concepts that we're going to go into in a little bit here. Beginner ranks are for that purpose. Once you've graduated from beginner ranks and you've settled on a main, and you've decided that, hey, this game's for me. Again, like I said in the first video, you're doing really well already. You've decided Tekken is your thing. Green ranks are still considered beginner ranks in my mind. 100% still considered beginner ranks. But green ranks, in this case, I want to try to change things up a little bit. I want the formula to be a little different in this sense than my previous video that I made for this topic. So I've made some notes here, and I've watched a bunch of green rank players play. And the reason I've separated green ranks from the teal and the silver ranks is because watching doing the research I've just done, watching green rank players fight each other, it doesn't even matter the demographic, where they live in the world, they all fight quite similarly. But I noticed things they obviously fight a little cleaner, a little better than teal and silver ranks. The difference is negligible, honestly. It's very, very small. So you can honestly, the green rank players, you should be listening to the beginner rank tutorial, the beginner level play-by-play that I just did in the intro, or just after the intro. But because that still very much applies to you if you're green ranks, which means Brawler, Ranger, Cavalry. You're not going to be getting demoted when you hit green ranks. But it's going to be harder to promote because you're in a rank where players are starting to learn the game a little bit. Once they start to know how to play their character, it's going to be tricky if you don't know how to play against their character. So, the number one thing I can say to green rank players is try to teach yourself not to mash so much. By now, if you're green rank, mashing, just random fucking, like, just doing shit, just trying to make things work, you know, however fucking, whatever you're doing, that is nonsense. Stop doing that. You're just mashing buttons. And if you're a green rank player and you want to keep going up, mashing is not how to play this game. Tekken, unlike a lot of other fighting games, doesn't reward mashing buttons. If you're mashing buttons without a purpose, so you don't know what the fuck you're doing, then you're just gonna die more often than not. Tekken does not reward button mashing, so try to teach yourself not to mash buttons, because you're just gonna die faster doing that. Another note I have is remember not to press buttons after taking a hit, and only after blocking a hit. Okay? So for example, I have Dragunov programmed to do something. He's gonna hit me, and then he's gonna do a follow-up move. Now, if I block something, I am able to attack, right? If I block something, I can attack. Look at that. Every time I block something, I can attack. Now, what happens if I get hit? Boom. I'm trying to do the same thing, just a jab. All I'm doing is jabbing. You see how it says counter there? See how it says counter there? That means I got counter hit. The reason being is I'm pressing out of turn, right? I just got hit by something. So my character, we're going to talk about frames a little bit later, but my character's at an inherent major disadvantage because I just took a hit. So what am I supposed to do after I take a hit? Not that. Fuck off, Kazuya. Boom. Look at that shit. I took a hit, now I block. Took a hit, block. Hit, block. I'm not getting hit by anything anymore. What a fucking concept. Blocking in Tekken is super important. That's something that you should be learning at this rank. Learn how to fucking block. Stop trying to press buttons when you just got smoked in the face. The general concept with fighting games, not just Tekken, but fighting games in general, is do not press a button after you've just taken a hit. That's basic fighting game 101. You don't even have to have any Tekken experience to know that shit. If you've just taken a hit, block. All you have to do is hold the back button. Oh, fuck, I just got hit. Just chill. Same thing applies in real life fights. When you just take a hit to the face, you don't want to be throwing around a punch because you're still dazed and confused. You're still somewhat seeing stars. So they just hit you in the face. Now, what are you doing swinging your arm? They might be fucking ducking for all you know. You have no fucking clue what they're doing now. You're so fucking disoriented because they took that hit to the face. The same concept applies in Tekken. So, stop mashing when you just got hit. It's a very easy concept to understand, and green ranks should already get this. And then also learn what while standing moves are and learn what while standing means. While standing is the state in which you're coming up from a crouch. So you're coming up from a crouch. So you hold the down back or you hold the down button and you're crouching, right? Now while standing is that in-between phase of where I'm standing up and where I'm crouching. That position in which I'm rising up. That's why in the move list, for some fucking stupid reason, they have it notated as while rising. If you check your move list and you look at your character's moves and you go down to the moves from while rising section, it will be the moves that come out of while standing. Not that and not that. This shit. See what I mean? This is a crouching kick. This is a standing kick. This is a while standing kick. Right? This move, this kick right here is only accessible after you're in the crouch phase and you let go of the down back button. So down back, hold it, let go, press forward. Down back, hold it, let go, press forward. Now I've got the while standing notation. That's a simple concept. It exists in Tekken, and I'm not sure what other fighting games, because Tekken's the only fighting game I play. But while standing is a very important concept to learn for Tekken, because it's going to be involved in your punishment down the road, and it's going to unlock a different set of moves for your character a lot of the time that are very powerful. So while standing moves are very important to learn, and understanding what that concept entails is what you need to do now. So practice crouching and then doing a move after you let go of the crouch button. This is my while standing 1-2. This is my twin pistons, a 13 frame launcher that only Kazuya has access to. Don't worry about what 13 frames means. We're green ranks right now. We're going to talk about frames when we're a bit higher in the rank scheme. But you know, things like this, while standing 2, one of my most powerful moves is a while standing 2. And it's fucking incredibly important to know how to use these moves properly. So, I'm not asking you to learn how to use those moves just yet. I'm asking you to learn what a while standing position is and practice what those moves are from that position. That's it. Okay? There you go. So, from that point on, green ranks. Now, hopefully you've graduated past that and you moved on to yellow ranks, and now you're a warrior rank, and things are going to get tricky now. So, let's go into detail about those yellow ranks. Alright, so you're in yellow ranks now. You're a warrior, or you're an assailant, or maybe you're a dominator. Especially for dominator ranked players, you guys have already, you know, promoted a couple of times, and you haven't demoted, hopefully, in that rank. So, what you're needing to do at these ranks is take a deep dive into your character. I want you to go into the move list in practice mode. You see these main techniques here? This is something a lot of players, even in blue ranks, which is a very high rank, especially in Season 2, blue rank players even miss this shit. This is basic stuff, but this is missed by players all over the world. These are moves, not necessarily the combos, where you see, like, recommended combo, things like that. This recommended combo here, you don't necessarily need to worry about those moves. Not yet, anyways. But definitely take a look at the moves that are important for your character. Main techniques, so forward, forward 2, down, back 1, 2, back 4. Why do we need to learn these moves? Well, forward, forward 2 is Kazuya's Devil Fist. It's one of his best attacks. You need to learn that. Down, back 1, 2, another amazing move. It's a 13 frame heat engager. Very, very fast, long range, mid attack. Another thing that you should probably start learning in these ranks, maybe even earlier, but yellow ranks for sure, is what move properties are. So there's a high. Some moves are high, some moves are low, other moves are mid. Mids cannot be ducked. So keep this in mind. If you're ducking and you get hit, it's probably because you got hit by a mid. Lows hit people that are not ducking. Not mids, but lows. So if you're standing up and you're just holding back, you are susceptible to getting hit by lows. Low attacks are very scary because they act as a type of chip damage. If you're used to 2D fighters, chip damage exists in 2D fighters. It exists in this game as well, but in a different wavelength. In the historicity of Tekken, historically, lows counted as taking some chip damage, because you're not taking a lot of damage, you know, compared to, like, if you were doing a combo or something. Look how much damage I'm taking here, right? That's not chip damage. That's just straight up a lot of damage, right? That was a basic, tiny little minuscule combo, not a whole lot to it. That's like the basic bare minimum day 1 Kazuya combo, and it did 82 damage. That's not chip damage. That's a significant amount of damage. So what you're wanting to learn about the move properties is you can duck under highs, you can block lows, because, again, they act as chip damage. You don't necessarily always want to just be taking lows to the face, especially, or the legs, I should say, especially since a lot of lows, like Kazuya's down back 4, and Kazuya's down 1+2, for example, are plus on hit, plus frames on hit, which means it's still Kazuya's turn. Frames, again, we'll talk about that later. But essentially, all you need to know right now is if the move is plus on hit, or plus on block, it's your turn after the move connects. Regardless. Almost all moves are plus on hit. Every time you hit your opponent, it's your turn to try to hit them again. Every single time. Sometimes they can try to steal their turn back, but understanding that a move connecting gives you plus frames, depending on what it is, means that you can retain your turn after the move is connected. Once something gets blocked, then it's effectively your turn is over, and you need to block yourself, because now it's your opponent's turn. So that's a very important thing to know. We just went over this in the beginner ranks, but this is more a little more detail as to why it is that you need to not press after taking a hit to the face, and why you should keep pressing after you've hit your opponent. But you need to learn your opponent's or your best moves with your character. If we go back into the move list real quick, there's more moves for Kazuya. So we went over down back 1-2, why it's a good move, and not how to use the move yet, but why it is a good move and why we should learn these moves with our characters. Back 4, a fantastic homing move. Back 4, amazing homing move, probably Kazuya's best homing move. So we want to learn our homing moves. We need to learn homing moves. Why? Because lateral movement is a thing in this game. 3D movement exists. Homing moves keep your opponent in check. They keep your opponent from sidestepping out of the way and dodging your shit. So, you cannot sidestep a homing move. That's the whole point of the move title being a homing attack. It homes in on the opponent no matter where they are on the screen. Laterally speaking, obviously they can backdash the hell out of the way, and the homing moves will whiff if they're out of range. But homing moves are generally going to connect whether it's on block or on hit if your opponent is sidestepping. They cannot sidestep a homing move. They exist for that purpose. Forward, forward 3, another fantastic move that Kazuya players should learn. Like, this is just another move that we need to learn. It's one of his best moves because it's a mid-launcher. Mid-launchers are fantastic. Low launchers are great. High launchers are great. But mid-launchers are some scary shit. Most launchers in the game are mid, and most of them are unsafe. Which means the character that did the mid that's unsafe now is susceptible to getting hit for free. Which is called punish. If you get punished for doing something, it means you were either unsafe after you did the move and they blocked it, or you were throwing shit out in thin air and you got whiff punished, which means you just did a random attack trying to catch them, and they spaced you out, and they punished you for it, because they then connected and capitalized on the fact that you just missed your attack. So, punishment exists, not something you should worry about right now, but it's an important thing to note. Learning your character's best moves is so fucking crucial. You have to know this shit. Electric, for example, is a massive thing to know with Kazuya. That's the most important move with the character, in my opinion. And most people's opinions. Electric, not that move, that's Wind Godness. Electric. If you're a Mishima player, you are going to spend most of the time in the... I haven't fucking warmed up yet. You're going to spend most of your time in practice mode learning just how to do this move consistently. Now, if you play on stick or you play on a hitbox, you probably have a little easier time doing it than if you play on controller. But you pick your poison, you can get it consistent no matter what controller you use. It's totally fine. Down back 4, as we saw on the move list, is another great move for Kazuya to learn. These are just examples, right? There are other moves that are in your move list, top moves, that you should be using, that are not listed in your moves, in your main techniques in the move list. But those are things that you're going to need to learn going forward. And we'll talk about those a little bit later on. So you do need to do a deep dive into your character and learn their best moves. Because there's no point in using shit that's going to get you killed when you have a list of moves that the game recommends you use in a match. So many people forego that concept. I need people to start learning that shit and incorporating that into their into their game plan, instead of throwing out these unsafe, launch punishable, fucking stupid ass moves just because. That's launch punishable is a thing we'll talk about a little bit later. But the other thing I want to mention is practicing patience in yellow ranks. This is the rank that you should really learn patience at, because it's a simple concept. Just being okay with holding back. Right? It's okay to block all the time and find out what your opponent wants to do. You can find the hole in their offense if all you're doing is blocking, you know. Maybe now I can attack. Oh, okay, yeah, his move is over. That's a string that he just did. Maybe I can attack now. Okay, great. That's patience. That is learning how to just chill. I mean, what else is there to it? There's no other fucking concept for it. Just chill the fuck out. Being impatient is the quickest way to getting a KO. And I don't mean KOing your opponent. I mean you getting yourself KO'd because you're an impatient bitch. Cut it out. Stop pressing buttons when it's not your fucking turn. And it's not your turn when you just took a hit to the face. So, patience. Again, it's just a deeper outlook on what that concept means. Not pressing a button after you just took a hit is one thing, but learning how to wait it out and find the opening is a very important concept. And you should be learning it at yellow ranks already. This is a basic Tekken concept, basic fighting game concept. So, patience. Another thing that I'm seeing so many players do at all types of ranks, but I think yellow ranks is where people should start learning this concept, is stop attacking at the beginning of rounds. Round 1 fight, boom, I'm already attacking. Round 1 fight should be backdash, sidestep. You know, figure out what your opponent is going to do. Give your opponent some space, and then once you're spaced out and they do some shit, capitalize on whatever the fuck they were doing. Try to get your offense in the hole of their offense. But attacking at the beginning of every round is a bad move. There are players that will not stop pressing at the beginning of every single fucking round. And they're all the way from, you know, beginner level to fucking blue ranks. Stop it. You can press at the beginning of rounds. But doing that every single time without fail is going to get you killed more often than not. So learn, again, this applies to the patience concept. Stop just being so damn impatient. The next thing for yellow ranks is learn a very basic combo with your main, because now you've picked a main, you understand the concept of blocking, you know what while standing is, you know how to be a little more patient. Now, learn a launcher with your character, whatever that may be, and learn a basic combo. I have a combo program for Dragunov right now. Let's do what his combo is real quick. This is a basic Dragunov combo. This is something that most Dragunovs are going to do 71 damage, and there's not a whole lot to it. That's a very, very simple, basic combo. There's nothing to it. That's the easiest shit I could think up. I don't play Dragunov. I just did that combo on the fly because that's the only combo I really know with the character. And I didn't learn any other combos with Dragunov. That's basic shit right there. But learn the basic combo. Learn how to incorporate heat into your combo if you can. But for now, maybe try keeping things simple. Don't even worry about incorporating heat burst. Just do your basic shit. Just do the combo. So in other words, learn what your launcher is. Learn what moves tornado. So if I'm going to launch my opponent with an electric, that's my launcher. He's in the air, right? Not that fucking move, this move. And then from there, I want to learn my tornado spin. This is how you extend your combos. Tornado spins. What move do I have that spins my opponent? Well, I can do that, or I can do something like this. That's another tornado spin, right? What else does he have? There's tornado spin, and then tail spin is the other thing. Look at that. Look at how Dragunov is spinning in the air, and he flies up a little further in the air. Tail spins are super important to know how to do. Whatever move you have where you have that animation, that extends your combo further. It's called a tail spin. You can do multiple tail spins per combo. You can only do one tornado per combo. So keep that in mind. These are things that everybody has access to now. In Season 2, it's a fairly new detail. Not every character had a tail spin in Season 1. Now everybody has at least one. Some characters have like 2 or 3. It's absurd. Makes no fucking sense. But they're very important to learn how to do because they make your combo extenders much easier to land. So if we go back to Dragunov's, He's gonna do simple things like a tornado, and then right there, you saw the tornado spin, right? So he launches me, he does the filler attacks, tornado bound, tail spin. And then from there, he can do a heat burst and he can do the wall combo, but for now, just focus on tornado spins and tail spins. Those two things are super important to learn because they make it so you can access a lot more damage in the combo and not have to think as much because the tail spin is allowing you more room to breathe. The tornado spin allows you more room to breathe. So say I want to launch, get a tornado spin, get a tail spin, and then I want to finish with an ender, right? Like that's essentially the basic bare bones minimum detail in your combos. So start with that. Learn your launcher, learn your tornado spin, learn your tail spins. Don't worry about anything else. Basic combo. This is yellow rank stuff. We don't need to move past that just yet. We'll talk about orange and red rank stuff later on. Another thing is learn your heat burst and your heat smash. How to incorporate these things. Very simple concept. Just make sure you're using your heat every time you are in a match. Even if it's as simple as heat burst, and then, you know, you chill out, and then boom, you immediately heat smash and you get rid of all your heat. That's definitely a waste of a heat bar. It's not what I recommend players do if you want to get good at the game, but at least you're using your heat. And you're still only yellow ranks, so let's not expect too much from these players too soon. So that's my mentality. If you want to learn a basic combo and incorporate your heat and be a little bit patient, these are very easy, simple things to know. And it's not, I'm not trying to put too much pressure on the players in the ranks that they're in. I want everybody to learn at their own pace, and I feel like this guide is a way to make people learn at their own pace. An easily accessible way to learn at your own pace. One other thing, the last thing for yellow ranks that I want to talk about is learn your panic tools. So I have Devil Jin here selected because I am very familiar with Devil Jin. I know how he operates. He's my third main, number 3. He's my third main character next to Kazuya and Heihachi. Everybody who watches my streams, you already know that about me. But as much as I'm not a fan of him in Season 2 because of how he operates with his stance mix-ups and just doesn't feel like Devil Jin to me in this season, I really don't like it, what they've done to him. His identity has been totally ruined as far as I'm concerned, almost as bad as Lee and Steve, and it's really sad what they've done in Season 2. They've really fucked the game up. But regardless of that, I'm digressing a little bit. The panic tools for Devil Jin are universally known. Everybody knows that when you go up against a lower-ranked Devil Jin player, they're going to be throwing out moves like this shit. It's going to happen. You're going to go for you're going to try to interrupt their shit, you're going to try to jab them, or you're going to try to do a quick poke or some shit, and they're going to kick the shit out of you because you're fucking attacking when they're doing a panic tool, right? These are cheat moves, essentially. They're get-out-of-jail-free cards. These are the types of moves that you can do in order to steal your turn back, right? So if you don't want to learn defense just yet, you don't want to be patient, you don't want to hold the block button and wait out your turn and see what happens, you can do stuff like this. You know, he has other panic tools as well. Devil Jin's got a fucking million of them. Samsara is amazing because what it can do is he gets to high crush my jab, or he can low crush my kicks, my low kicks, and then if I try to jab punish him at the end of the fucking move, it dodges my jab as well. So it's a catch-all move. It ducks under highs, it ducks under low, or goes over lows immediately as soon as you access the move, and it'll even go under some mids, believe it or not. It's a fucking stupid move. But it launches your opponent for a full combo. What is the trade-off? That sounds like a ridiculously amazing move. Well, both moves are incredibly unsafe. A smart player will wait out that shit, like, because they practiced fucking patience, and they will kill you for doing that move. What can Kazuya do after Devil Jin does that shit? Well, I can launch him, and you see it says punish there. I got my electric for free because I blocked his Samsara. What does that also apply to the other move? Let's see. You're goddamn right it does. You gotta be a little quicker with this punish because it moves only minus 18, but these are things that you don't necessarily need to worry about just yet. These are just basic concepts. Don't worry about the frame data at yellow ranks. Please, you're doing yourself a disservice. By if you're a Dominator player and you're fucking learning about frame data, power to you. You're way ahead of the game. But at this point, if your rank is Dominator or below, frames shouldn't even be in your head yet. Just don't worry about that stuff. All you need to know about frames is plus frames for your character is good, minus frames for your character is bad. Done. That's all you need to know right now. Minus frames, don't press buttons. Plus frames, press buttons. That's the simplest way of saying it. And as you can see here, plus 8 is good. Neutral is good. Minus 4, stop pressing at that point. Yeah, I just hit the guy, but I'm still at minus because that move recovers so slowly. So I'm at minus 4 frames, which means it's very much my opponent's turn, so stop pressing. It's not my turn anymore. But panic tools are extremely important to know, even though they're very unsafe. So if I wanted to do something like this, you know, this is another panic tool that Deviljin has. And what does it do? It makes it so I can try to go for my turn, but because it's an armor move, it'll eat up my offense. This is a parry. It actually activates in 3 frames for Deviljin. It's a very fast parry. It's one of the only parries that activates that fast. But it's a power crush parry. This is also another panic tool you can use. It's his other power crush. Now, we'll talk about power crush and the basics of frame data for things like power crush in a little bit. But as you can see there, that's a panic tool. I did a move. I wanted to keep my turn, so I pressed the move. I pressed the panic tool after that. Power crushes are essentially a very lazy way of keeping your turn because they actually operate as the least effective way to do so. They're a very annoying tool to deal with. There are ways to beat out Power Crush, though, for example. I can throw. Throws beat out Power Crush, so it's not a catch-all beat everything beat everything move. Power Crush still has weaknesses. It loses to lows. Any low will cancel the Power Crush animation. As you can see there. But if I try to do a mid, it'll eat up my mid and it'll kill me. If I try to do a high, it's going to eat up my high, and it kills me, right? So, power crushes are great against mids and highs, and they die versus lows and throws. That's the trade-off. Just remember that concept. But power crushes are essentially panic tools. Get off me buttons. What the fuck do I do? I'm getting pressured to death. Power crush. That's what you want to do. So learn your panic tools with your character. You need to know that stuff. I recommend checking out YouTube tutorials or, again, going into the move list. If you don't want to look at the YouTube tutorials, that's totally fine. But you should be knowing, you should learn things like what does this notation mean? What does that spiral thing on the right mean? You see that little red thing there on the side? The red sign thing has got a spiral notation. Those mean something, right? That spiral notation means that it's a tornado spin attack. Okay? So, it's a tornado spin attack. This spiral thing on the side there, the blue notation, on the very, very right with the arrow doing a circle means it's a homing move. It tracks all the way around. It's a homing attack. Okay? This strongman signature insignia thing over on where the fuck is it there? On that side there, right? Next to the tornado flippy thingy. That sign means it's an armor move. So it's a power crush. It's the type of move that we were just demonstrating with Deviljin. So learn what those moves, signs mean in your move list, and try to incorporate. Usually, when there's a sign on one of the moves, it means that's a good move. You should try to use it. So, I hope that helps. Armor moves are your panic tools, as well as evasive tools that go under moves or that move you away from moves, like we saw with back 3, with Deviljin's back 3. Like evasive tools exist in spades. You can do an evasive tool that goes under moves. You can do an evasive tool that goes away from moves. Right? So it dodges out of the way. But the point of a panic tool is that it's an evasive tool. It gets out of fucking dodge. So learn what those moves are with your character. And I recommend don't rely on them so heavily because you're only going to hurt yourself in the future. But figure out what they are and at least learn how to incorporate them in your toolkit in such a way that you're not heavily relying on them. And that they're getting you killed. As soon as they start getting you killed because you're just doing them all the time, that's when you need to take a step back and go, okay, I am losing a lot to this move. I need to stop trying to just throw it out all the fucking time because it's just getting me killed. Every single time I do it, he kills me for it. Well, maybe try being a little more patient. Because patience, 9 times out of 10, patience is going to be better for you in the long run than relying on panic tools to get you out of a tight spot. It's just the case. That's why panic tools exist for a reason, but patience will always be better than panic tools. You will always get more reward for being patient. So, that's it for yellow ranks for now. That's what I think you guys should focus on at these ranks. And we're going to move on to the orange ranks now. Alright, so in orange ranks, you're going to be a vanquisher or a destroyer or an eliminator rank, okay? You're getting up there in the ranks now. In Season 2, I think orange ranks are a bit more, from what I've seen, from the research I've done recently, and I've just watched the orange rank players that I've watched before making this video, all over the world, multiple of them now. I would say they're looking stronger than they did in Season 1. So orange ranks are a significant step up from yellow ranks now compared to how they were in Season 1. The difference is negligible. I'm sure it varies depending on the character you use and where you live and obviously the opponents that you're fighting, and a whole bunch of factors are at play. The meta is completely different, so it's not just a 1-to-1 ratio. It's not like, oh, Vanquisher in Season 1 is like a warrior in Season 2. No, it's not that fucking simple. There are more factors at play. You can't just compare the 1-to-1 ratio. But broad spectrum, I think orange rank players in Season 2 seem stronger to me than they did in Season 1. I'm not going to say that they look like red ranks in Season 1, because some of them don't. Some of them look like orange ranks. Some of them look like red ranks. Some of them look like purple ranks. Some of them look like yellow ranks and green ranks. Like, it really depends on who you are as a person, what character you're playing, where your bad habits lie, you know, your matchup knowledge in the game, how familiar you are with animations and everything. Like, most of the time at orange ranks, you're not going to know any of that stuff. So, it's going to vary. But in my opinion, from what I've seen and what I remember watching in Season 1 compared to what I just saw before making this video, orange rank players, you guys are doing pretty good. So what you should start learning is basic throw breaks. Just simple throw breaks. Start with the 1 and the 2 throws. Make sure that you know exactly how to break 1 and 2 throws. Okay? Very, very basic stuff. But the key is to find out which way or which arm they're using to grab you with. Right? If they're using their right arm, or their left arm, that's a 1 break. Their right arm is a 2 break. This is basic stuff. Now, if they're doing the universal throw, which leaves you with a homing trail, there's a homing trail because the universal basic 1+3 or 2+4 throws are broken with either 1 or 2. You don't have to really know the break. You can just break it with 1 or 2. Of course, if you press 1+2, like both punches at the same time, you cannot break the throw. Because those throws are only broken with 1 or 2. But command throws, like what I just showed you with Devil Jin, these throws are very specific. You need to break them with the corresponding throw. If you look on the side there, you can see what button I'm pressing every time I break the throw, right? Now what happens if I press the wrong button? Well, I pressed 1 there, and I got thrown. And I pressed 2 there, and I got thrown, right? Because I'm pressing the wrong button. So immediately, you cannot press the wrong button and then immediately press the right button right after. The moment you press the wrong button for the throw break, I mean, the sequence will immediately end. The throw will become effectively unbreakable, and you'll just have to eat the throw and take the damage. Which is why anytime you press 1+2 after getting thrown with a 1 or a 2 throw, it's never going to work, because 1+2 counts as a specific throw break itself. 1+2 counts as the throw break that they do when your opponent throws out a throw with both arms. Then you break that throw with a 1+2 almost every time, unless you're fighting King, but that's specific to King. 1+2 throws are broken with 1+2. Both, which means you'll see them grab you with both arms. I can try to demonstrate that real quick. Let's see if we can do... Devil Jin does this. Now I'll turn this off just to see what this animation looks like, and boom. It's both arms are being thrown out, as you can see there. The left arm is slightly above the right arm in the animation, but they're both being thrown out at the same time, and the break at that point is 1+2. Okay? So, what I suggest is you take a character that has a perfect throw game, like Devil Jin, or maybe Hwarang, or Nina, or Dragonov, King. Put them into practice mode, make them do a 1 throw that's a command throw, make them do a 2 throw that's a command throw, set it up like I have it here, with practice settings, go to training mode, right? Switch it from offense to defense, okay? And then go into the opponent action 1, 2, and 3 and program throws. And then cycle through the throws. If you go back here, that's a 2 throw. There's a 2 throw again. There's a 1 throw. There's a 2 throw. 2 throw. 1+2 throw. 2 throw. 1+2 throw. 1+2. 2. 2. 1. There you go. Right? So he's going to cycle through the throws at random, and you're going to have to identify them. So start learning those throw drills. That's a very, very simple and effective way at learning how to break throws. My throw breaks aren't the best, but they're decent. When I'm really locked in and I'm focused on what my opponent is doing, my throw breaks are pretty decent. And I owe all that decency to the throw drill that I just demonstrated there. Very, very effective way, because I used to suck ass. I could not break throws to save my fucking life, and I had that problem for years of me playing this fucking game. My biggest weakness was throws. If you were getting your ass kicked against me and I was beating your ass, start throwing me and you will win, because I suck at breaking throws. So I said, fuck that, and I just decided to go into practice mode and do a throw drill, and now I practice throws 20 minutes a day, every day, just because, and it really does help. It really, really does help. You're not going to notice a difference immediately. You really won't. You're going to notice a difference gradually. 2 weeks into that 20-minute-a-day throw break session, and you will notice a massive difference. If you're not willing to put in the time for the throw break tutorials, then I'm sorry, but you're going to suck ass at breaking throws, and that's going to be a big problem of yours for the future going forward. If you're still bitching about that stuff in blue ranks or something, then that's not anybody's problem but your own. You're just lazy. You'd rather just mash buttons in ranked and not know what the fuck you're doing than learn how to break throws. And that's fine, but don't be bitching to anybody about how broken throws are if that's the case. Next up... I want to talk about practicing spacing with your main character. This is why you need to... this is a main reason as to why I think it's very important to have only one character up to this point. In fact, even beyond this point. One character. I can see that my jab is whiffing from this range, right? Why am I whiffing my jab? There's no reason for me to whiff my jab. I need to get up and I need to fucking make sure I have the exact right spacing. What about forward, forward, 2? If I want to do forward, forward, 2, I better know the exact spacing in which to do the move. If I'm back here and I'm throwing it out, I'm going to get whiff punished and die, potentially, right? So practice spacing with your character. There's no reason to be whiffing shit in the middle of the fucking stage. What are you doing? You're just asking to get killed when you're doing stuff like this. You can whiff things sometimes. I have a little bit of a strat that I do sometimes with Kazuya, is I like do a down 2, and then immediately a while standing 2. It's a type of baiting, because this move recovers so fast. This move recovers so fast, and Kazuya is still crouching for so long that a lot of players will just immediately go, oh, he just whiffed down 2, I'm going to run up and do something. And then they end up eating the while standing 2. You have no idea how often that connects. If you watch my streams, you know exactly what I'm talking about, because you guys see it happen all the fucking time. From players in blue ranks all the way up to gold ranks, people will eat that shit because that's about their patience. So, but baiting is not something you need to learn at these ranks. Baiting out the opponent is for down the road. Right now, you need to focus on learning the distance away from your opponent in which you need to best place the moves that you're doing. So from this range, for example, which is range, I don't know, let's see, 2.8, you know, or maybe 3 something, I can throw out the Devil Fist from that range, and I'm good. But if I try to throw like an electric or a down forward 2, I'm gonna whiff, you know? I have to be at the right range to throw those moves out. Down forward 2 whiffs from that range. Fucking electric, wind godfist, electric, those things whiff from that range. So make sure you're throwing the moves out of the appropriate space. Don't be afraid to get up to your opponent and press the buttons in their face. That's what you're supposed to do. Just make sure you're spacing things out properly. Whiffing in the middle of the stage isn't going to get you anywhere. It's going to get you killed, if anything. So that's a big problem with a lot of orange rank players. You guys whiffing all the fucking time. And even red, purple, blue rank players. You guys are whiffing all the fucking time. Cut it out. Stop. It drives me nuts having to sit through all those fucking matches. Seriously. From beginner all the way up to blue ranks. This is happening. So again, I don't want to hear people in the comments go like, oh, I didn't learn any of this stuff, but I got all the way up to Fujin or Raijin or whatever the fuck. Good for fucking you. You got lucky. Now start learning this shit. Otherwise, you're not going to be able to get past those ranks. Maybe 1 or 2 ranks above where you are, but that's it. You're probably going to cap right there. And if that's where you want to stay, cool. Don't learn anything else. You're fine. But if you want to progress, and you want to get good at this game, then stop doing the dumb shit that you're fucking doing. Like, I shouldn't see a Fujin player do stuff like fucking this. You know? Why are you whiffing? Stop it. But orange ranks is where I think that journey should begin. So if you're still whiffing shit in orange ranks, don't feel bad. It's okay. You're still just an orange rank player. You're still learning the game, the basics of the game. Don't be so fucking hard on yourself. But start being conscious of this fact. Spatial control is so goddamn important. You have to know this stuff. Next up, so stop mashing in between strings is a big thing that a lot of players do. This goes hand in hand with patience. This goes hand in hand with not pressing after taking a hit. This goes hand in hand with those concepts, but it's a different concept because there's a little more to it. If this is the thing this is the one. Okay. So, Devil Jin is doing a string right now, right? Now, I don't know when the string is gonna end. I'm not familiar with this animation, so I'm pressing buttons. Because I don't know what's going on. So, this is a common occurrence. Again, this is why I'm stressing this so much. Patience, patience, patience. This is something I've addressed in green ranks, yellow ranks, and now, again, in orange ranks. It's just different types of patience, different layers of patience, stacked on top of one another. Pressing out of turn. Pressing too often, pressing in between strings. That's a huge thing. I don't know the string animation, so I'm going to press. That's the wrong mentality. If you don't know the string animation or you're not familiar with how many moves or how many hits are in the string, then chill the fuck out until the string is over. Yes, you don't get to take your turn because you're still blocking at the end of the string. Fine. It resets the neutral, but at least you didn't take damage. Now you're both just back to 0. And you both can move around and see who gets the next hit, right? But pressing in the middle of a string is always going to hurt. Always going to hurt. Like, of course, certain strings can be interrupted depending on what you press. This string can be jab interrupted, or even 11 frames. I don't think, maybe not 11 frames. Yeah, 11 frames trades. But this string can be jab interrupted. So, jabs are typically 10 frames to impact, which means in between 1, 2, 3, 4, in between 1, 2, and 3, that's where you place your jab. If you want to swing in between the string. But I don't recommend it, because most strings don't allow you to do that. Most strings are very compact and don't allow any room to be putting moves in between. So, that's a huge deal. Stop mashing in between strings. The other thing I think you should learn at this point in orange ranks is learn effective flowcharts with your character, right? If you've learned everything else up to this point, effective flowcharts would be stuff like this. down back 3 into full crouch down forward 3+4 with Kazuya. This move here, full crouch, and then down forward 3+4 at the same time. As you can see in the move notations there on the right side of the screen. Down back 3 is a great little low because it's got decent range. You know, it doesn't have infinite range, but it's got decent range for what it is, and it immediately high crushes things. What is a high crush? It goes under highs, essentially. Any high your opponent does, any high attack, we talked about this already, any high attack property that your opponent wants to throw out, this will beat it automatically every time. Okay? Very safe move like this. Down back 3 into full crouch down forward 3+4. Now you notice that down back 3 is -1, and I was saying stuff earlier about how when you're minus, don't press. In these scenarios, there exist exceptions, and this is an exception here because this is called a flowchart. This is a very effective flowchart. A lot of players will eat this shit. It's not the greatest flowchart. There are far better flowcharts out there that are better for this concept. But this is a mini flowchart with a lot of Kazuya players that seems to work a lot of the time because this move is minus, and Kazuya is still crouching status when he finishes this move, right? So I'm still in crouch. So any move that they do that's a high, it's going to go over it no matter what. And this move remains crouching for me. In fact, I'm airborne when I do this move, but I'm airborne low to the ground. So it's a mid, so they can't duck it. Oftentimes players will see that and then they'll think either you're going to go for the Hell Sweep, because Hell Sweep you can do so fast after the down back 3 connects. You can do down back 3 into immediate Hell Sweep, or you can do down back 3 into immediate full crouch down forward 3+4. So that's a flowchart. This full crouch down forward 3+4 is going to catch people trying to do things that are high attacks, because it'll just go under that shit and beat it out. And a lot of the time, most people's go-to response as soon as it's their turn is to jab check. That's the go-to response universally for the majority of players on the planet, and I just verified that for myself before making this video, watching all those other matches. From low-level players to high-level players, people jab check at the beginning of their turn on a regular fucking basis. Very, very common occurrence. I even do it myself. These types of flowcharts are designed to catch people from jab checking. A flowchart essentially means you're taking one move that puts you in a position where you're able to then use a different move, another move as a follow-up, and those two in sequence work together in such a way that they land on your opponent very consistently. And that's just a flowchart. This move goes into this move, and this always works, which then goes into this move, and this always seems to work because people fall for this shit all the time. Little flowcharts like that. Flowcharts are important for your game plan. You don't have to forego learning them altogether. In fact, they stop working at the high level of play most of the time because everybody at that level has seen every flowchart in the game and they know exactly what to expect. So flowcharts stop working at a specific point. But in orange ranks, red ranks, purple ranks, people are not going to know what the fuck of every flowchart in the game is, so they're going to fall for shit on a regular basis. So this essentially, a flowchart is a type of trickery. You're not necessarily remaining safe the whole time when you're doing a flowchart, but it's not a bad idea to do a good flowchart. Good flowcharts that are better than the one I just showed you with Kazuya. But if a move goes into another move and it seems to be effective and it seems to work for you, that's called a flowchart. And those work up to a certain point. So I recommend you learn those things. The other thing, another main thing in orange ranks that I want people to learn is the beginning of frame data. The beginning of your journey of frame data. Orange ranks, you guys need to learn this fucking shit. It is non-negotiable, okay? But the basics of frame data isn't as scary as one might think, because these concepts apply universally. So I've chosen Shaheen for this example here because Shaheen is a perfect character. He has basically everything that any character could possibly want in this game, and he has it in spades. And he's very, very easy to play, extremely easy to pilot. He's a great character because he's got fucking everything, and he's super easy to use, and nobody knows the matchup. So he's a fantastic character for that reason. But the basic frame data concept is best taught with a character like Shaheen because of the fact that he has everything. So, starting with jabs, jabs are your best go-to tool, right? Every jab is 10 frames. Every jab in the game is 10 frames. And that's not a jab. Jab is just the one button. Just standing one. 10 frames to impact. You see those attack startup frames? 10 frames to impact. The other thing about jabs that is universal. Almost every jab in the game. Now, let's be real here. There are exceptions to all these rules that I'm about to tell you. But for like 90% of the cast, 90% of scenarios, these rules apply, and they apply no matter what. Which is why this is not such a daunting thing to learn, because once you know the concept with one character like this, you understand it with pretty much every character. The ones that are different, you'll have to learn about those ones, but at least those ones are so few and far between that this concept will still cover the broad spectrum. Okay? So jab, 10 frames to impact, and on block, it's always +1, which means you are essentially it's still your turn. On hit, it's +8, which means jab is an incredible move for momentum building. +8 frames is massive. +8 frames means there's virtually nothing your opponent can do once they take a jab to the face. They can't really move, because you've got a lot of moves that keep them in check, like another jab or even a down forward one. Shaheen has a fucking amazing down forward one of the best down forward ones in the game. We'll talk about those in a minute. But the universal thing I want to talk about is just, what are the moves on, what are they to impact, what are they on block, and what are they on hit? Those are the main things I want to cover right now. So jab, it's 10 frames to impact. Everybody knows jabs are the fastest moves in the game. Dick jabs are also the same. 10 frames to impact. Okay? 10 frames to impact, -5 on block, +6 on hit. So these retain your momentum big time. +8 on hit for a normal jab, +6 on hit for a dick jab. Both of them are 10 frames to impact. Jabs crush nothing. Very, very much, they crush nothing. Dick jabs crush highs, so they beat out highs, right? 10 frames, 10 frames. +6 on hit, +8 on hit. Universally, that rule applies to everyone who has a jab and a dick jab, okay? So that's just something to keep in mind, okay? Next up, I want to do hop kicks. Hop kicks, everybody who has a hop kick, these are pretty much the same for everyone. 15 frames to impact, one of pretty much everybody's go-to launcher who has a hop kick. Very, very useful tool. And it's -13 on block, as you see there. -13. Every single hop kick in the game is unsafe, and it's -13 or potentially more. But the point is to note that if your character has a hop kick, odds are that hop kick is 15 frames fast, which is standard for a launcher. 15 frames universally is the speed at which most launchers are going to come out. As you see here, down forward 2. Another launcher Shaheen has, a safe at -7, 15 frame launcher. Any character who has a safe mid launcher like this you have an amazing fucking character. Shaheen, Lee, Law, Paul, I was going to say Alisa, but hers is 16 frames fast. Even still, that's pretty fucking good, because they're all safe on block. Asuka, down forward 2 is -6, in fact, not -7. But they're safe 15 frame launchers. Okay? Amazing fucking tool. But the point is, it's 15 frames fast. Okay? Most launchers are going to be 15 frames fast, with the exceptions being, different launchers from a few different characters, but not that many. Most launchers are 15 frames fast, period. Some down forward 2s are punishable on block with a jab or a 12 frame punish, but not much more. And then other down forward 2s, like this bullshit here, is -7 on block, which means you cannot punish it. The beginning of the punishment category is -10 or more. So -10, if a move leaves you at -10, then you are effectively unsafe, and you can potentially get damage taken by your opponent if they decide to punish you correctly. So minus 10 gets a jab punish, minus 12 gets a bigger punish, minus 15 you're susceptible to launch punish. Anything above minus 15 is incredibly unsafe because you only need to be minus 15 to essentially be launch punishable by the entire cast, almost, except Kazuya, Heihachi, and Steve. Typically, they're not going to launch you at minus 15. But, I mean, the Mishimas can, but we're going into some deep diving detail that we don't need to touch right now. So, we're talking about jabs, we talked about hop kicks being minus 15, minus 13 on block, and they launch on hit, so hop kicks are very good to know, to incorporate, so you need to already know that if your character has a jab, use the shit out of it. If your character has a hop kick, use the shit out of it. The next move we need to use on the regular. These are moves you need to incorporate into your game plan, period. Down forward 1. If your character is lucky enough to have a 13 frame down forward 1, use the shit out of it. But this thing is 13 frames to impact every time, okay? Not every down forward 1 is 13 frames. There are several down forward 1s in the game that aren't 13 frames. Some of them are 14, some of them are 15, some of them are slower than that. But for the most part, down forward 1s for I'd say like 80% of the cast are 13 frames fast, okay? The plus frames on hit and the plus frames on block vary from character to character, but the majority have a 13 frame down forward 1, and it's one of the most important moves in the game because it's a mid check that's very fast to come out that keeps your momentum going, and they're usually not that unsafe. Like Shaheen, again, why he has such an amazing down forward 1 is his is only minus 1. So it basically it's basically neutral. He can just do down forward 1 into down forward 1 again. Down forward 1 into whatever the fuck he wants. Down forward 1 into jab. Down forward 1 into jab is never a bad idea. You know, down forward 1 into sidestep. Down forward 1 into down 1 for Shaheen, because this move is pretty fucking good. It's a low, it's plus 4 on hit, you know, and it high crushes. So it's a fantastic move if you just hit with down forward 1. 13 frames fast. That's the big thing we're taking away from this little tidbit of information right now. So, jabs, hop kicks, down forward 1s. Some of your best moves right there. The other thing I want to note is talking about low pokes. So, like this shit. Not that shit. This shit. Low pokes. Okay? From what we can see here, this low poke, look at that. It's minus 12 on block, which means I get a while standing 4 guaranteed. If I block this, then I'm guaranteed to get a while standing 4. You see how it says punish there every time? That's because this move is guaranteed to come out if I block his down 4. Because almost every low poke in the game, including Kazuya's like this and this, those are low pokes. Those are just small attacks that do a little bit of damage that add up over time, but they're essentially your chip damage, like we talked about earlier, right? Low pokes are typically chip damage in Tekken, even though Tekken 8 now has chip damage incorporated as well. Historically speaking, these have always been counted as chip damage in Tekken, because this game doesn't have chip damage, typically, except Tekken 8 is fucking weird. So, what you're going to do with that knowledge? Well, anytime you block a low, you should be going for an immediate while standing 4. Anytime you block a low, right? Because low pokes are always unsafe. So if you're going to say something like, oh, my character's lows are all minus 12 or minus 13, yes. Every single low in the game is minus 12 at least, with some exceptions. There are exceptions to the rule. Leroy has a safe low. Asuka and June have safe lows that are only like minus 10. There are a few other characters that have safe lows that I can't think of right off the top of my head because I can't. Raven's got a safe low. Regardless, and Kuma does as well. I think Kuma and Panda both do as well. Anyways, the majority of the cast, besides the ones that I've just listed, whenever they do a move that's a very small amount of damage and they hit you in the legs, that's minus 12 on block, almost guaranteed. If not more. Sometimes it could be more. Like if we go back to Shaheen real quick. Shaheen has a move that's down 3, for example. This is another low poke, and it's a great low poke because it's neutral on hit. But it's minus 14 on block. So Kazuya gets a launch, and everybody else in the cast gets a pretty hefty punish for that. But still, you can guarantee that you'll at least get it while standing 4-4, or while standing 4. No matter what character you play, your while standing 4 is going to hit if you've blocked this low poke, because all lows are unsafe on block virtually in the entire game. Another universal piece of information that you need to know. So, to reiterate, real quick, we'll go over things step by step. Jabs are 10 frames to impact, which means they take 10 frames before they hit the opponent. Fastest move in the game. Dick jabs the same thing. Jab on hit is plus 8. Jab on block is plus 1, so it's still your turn even if they block your jab. Dick jab on hit is plus 6. Dick jab on block is minus 5. We're going to show that just so I'm not talking out my ass. Minus 5. Okay? So if your dick jab gets blocked, it's your opponent's turn now. They can do whatever the fuck they want because minus 5 is minus 5, your turn's over. You're not unsafe, you can't take damage for free, but you shouldn't go into more pressing buttons after that because you're susceptible to getting counter hit and getting killed for it. So don't do it. If you're minus 5 after a dick jab, then just stop pressing fucking buttons. Okay? Next up is hop kicks, like I said. Always launch on hit, always minus 13 on block, always 15 frames to impact. Again, with exceptions. But for the most part, 15 frames to impact. Same with down forward 2s. Your average down forward 2 is going to be 15 frames. The frames on block and on hit are going to vary, but for the most part, your down forward 2s are almost always going to be 15 frames. Down forward 1, almost always going to be 13 frames. One of your best mid pokes in the game, keeps you very, very safe, keeps your opponent in check. If it connects, it allows you to continue your momentum. Very hard sentence to fucking say. Okay. Next up, we have Universal Punishment. Every single while standing 4 in the game, every single one, if I'm doing things in the correct order here, yeah, every single one. Because we just talked about this, we just said that every low is minus 12, at least, right? So that's very good information to know, on top of the fact that every while standing 4 is 11 frames to impact. What does that mean? Do the fucking math. It's not that hard. If you're minus 12 and this move is 11 frames to impact, this move is going to connect 1 frame before your opponent is allowed to block. Or sorry, well, I guess they can block on the 13th frame if they're minus 12. So this move connects 2 frames before they're allowed to block. They can block on the 13th frame, which means this is not going to work. Or that's not going to work. This is Shaheen's 13th frame while standing punish. So say Kazuya does, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to do Shaheen instead. Shaheen's going to do this. And he's minus 12, right? Minus 12. So if I block after, like, be smart about this. So block right after the down 4 connects. So because Shaheen is blocking, my 13 frame, this is the fastest move I have besides my while standing 4. Shaheen is blocking. But he's only minus 12, so my 13 frame hit doesn't connect because it's only a 12 frame minus 12 low. But now if I go for a while standing 4-4, even though he's blocking, it connects. What a fucking concept. That's basic punishment. Basic punishment 101, okay? So, universally, again, we have jabs being 10 frames to impact. +1 on block, +8 on hit. Dick jab, 10 frames to impact. +6 on hit, -5 on block. Applies to everybody. Low pokes, all of them are -12, at least. Every single low in the game is at least -12. Every single low poke is going to be -12, -13. Okay? Some of them are -11. Doesn't matter. Your while standing 4 is 11 frames to impact. So this is your fastest While standing punish. 11 frames to impact. Punish all low pokes with this. Not only do you get a bit of damage, but you also get +5, so you get to continue your turn. If I do while standing 4 and a down forward 1, they cannot interrupt that with any move at all. They have to respect my while standing 4 pressure. They did a move, they ate some damage for it, but now guess what? It's my turn again, so I get to continue my offense, which is great. I can do while standing 4 into a throw. They cannot interrupt that, and now look at the damage I get. You know? So there's that. The other thing about frames, down forward 1, 13 frames to impact, almost always. Okay, so use the shit out of these moves. This is your mid check if you're lucky enough to have a 13 frame down forward 1. Hop kicks and down forward 2s as 15 frame launchers. Okay, down forward 2s usually unsafe on block unless you have a bullshit character. Shaheen is bullshit, so his is safe, right? -7, what a bitch. Hop kick is universally -13. These are rules that apply to the entire cast. So now I have given you a cheat code, a cheat sheet of frames. You don't need to know things beyond that. You just need to know those basic concepts. We're going to also learn a little bit about parries, power crushes, and rage arts. Let's talk about that now. Alright, so with parries, power crushes, and rage arts, there typically exists a universal formula with these frames as well. Now, we already discussed how jabs are 10 frames to impact, so they're typically the fastest moves in the game. But parries, rage arts, and power crushes activate on their own frames. Parries take usually 5 frames, with a few exceptions. So they will activate on the 5th frame. So if you're -5, that's a great opportunity to set up a parry, for example. I'm going to go into, Heihachi's parry is amazing, is Sabaki. And what you can do is, this move here is you're at -5. Down forward 4, sorry, not down forward 4. Down forward 1 puts Heihachi at -5, right? And Clive is trying to punish my -5 with his 1-2. And then he's going to block after. So -5, I'm going to immediately parry with back 1+2, and guess what? It beats out his jab, because it activates in 5 frames only. Down forward 1, gets the parry automatically. Now what happens if I'm at -6? -6 with my down forward 4, I cannot engage my parry in time. His jab beats out my parry, because I need 5 frames of leniency to activate my parry. And then you have the parry's active frames, which means how long that move stays active for, varies from character to character depending on what parry you have. Heihachi's parry has a lot of active frames, but I still need 5 frames to activate it. So if I'm -6 and he goes for a 10-frame jab, he's going to beat out my parry. That's why parry setups are very important to know how to use. Down forward 1 into parry is great, because I'm only -5, I'm not -6. All these numbers mean something. They make a difference. These parry setups are important, and there's little basic factors that you need to learn for going into the game. So there's that, for example, right? That's one thing you do need to know about parries and how they work exactly. The other thing I can teach you about is power crushes and how fast or how many frames you need for them to activate. So a power crush typically is free to be activated at 7 frames. So you need, instead of 5 frames of leniency, you need 7 frames of leniency. So in this sense, I'm going to do a move that leaves me at -3, and then I can do a power crush. So if I do that into this, 4-4-3 into my power crush, which is up 1, 4-4-3 and up 1, I get a power crush opportunity, because I'm only -3 with Heihachi, and he's doing a 10-frame dick jab. What's the difference between 3 and 10? It's 7, right? And I'm just in the range of absorbing his dick jab with my up 1, because I have 7 frames of leniency there. If I were to try to do something like 2-2 and then up 1, 2-2, I'm at -8. I can't interrupt that in time. I don't have enough frames of leniency. Nowhere near the amount that I need. So if he's in crouch, I'm at -8, and then I try to go for my power crush, I get interrupted. Because I need 7 frames, and he's going for a 10-frame jab. I only have 2 frames of leniency there. Because I'm at -8, he's doing a 10-frame move. I need 7 frames. I only have access to 2 frames, and that's why I'm getting interrupted every time he does a dick jab. So, power crushers are good panic tools, but they're not a catch-all. They're not going to beat your opponent no matter what they try to do. I know a lot of players in these ranks typically like to think that power crush beats everything, but it doesn't. Power crush needs 7 frames to activate the armor property. And then even after that, you can technically absorb a hit with your armor, and then they can still, depending on how fast the move was that they tried to throw out at you while you were trying to go for your armor move, you can still absorb that hit, and then they have time to block before your power crush actually goes through, depending on how fast your power crush is. That's why certain power crushes like this one of the Hachi, up 1, not the greatest power crush. Minus 13 on block, not very good, but it's okay. Kazuya's is terrible with forward 2. It's absolutely garbage. It's 20 frames to impact. You're not really going to be absorbing a lot. The range is shit. You're better off just avoiding Heihachi and Kazuya's power crushes because they're really not very good. So, but a lot of characters have some very good power crushes. Like Clive has an amazing power crush that hits from super far away. But you still need 7 frames to impact. So if you're trying to do the move and you're at like minus 4, and they try to jab you, your power crush is going to get beaten out. If you're at minus 3 and they try to jab you, then you will absorb their jab and you will connect to the power crush, most likely on block. But that's generally what you need to know. 7 frames is what you require in order to activate a power crush and have it go through successfully. And finally, we got to talk about rage arts, obviously. Rage arts are, everybody hates rage arts. They're minus 15 on block, another universal thing that everybody needs to know, okay? So say Clive goes for the rage art, and, and I block it, then I get my 15 frame punish for free. I get to just do it, and it's guaranteed, right? And most characters in the game, or most characters I should say, do get a 15 frame launch every time they block rage arts. So rage art is actually pretty trash for that reason. They need to nerf it, and they need to bring it down to like minus 30, because everybody deserves to launch and destroy their opponent if they attempt a rage art and it fails. It's too rewarding of a technique in this game for what the counter for the counterplay that's available to it. There really isn't much counterplay. Like it's so hard to launch punish with the electric. Like you have to know the exact recovery frames to launch punish this shit with the electric. And every rage art has different recovery frames. Recovery frames are a different thing entirely, but it's something that everybody needs to know. Every rage art recovers at a different pace. And you need to know exactly when that pace is to know exactly when to press the button that you need to use to punish your opponent with. With most characters that have a down forward 2 or a hop kick that they can launch with, you can just block the rage art and then mash down forward 2 until you finally get the animation to come out. Until the recovery frames are over, just mash down forward 2 and it will connect. You will not drop a launch with rage art if you're mashing down forward 2 or up forward 4 with your hop kick, if your character is lucky enough to have one of those tools. With Mishimas, I play Mishimas. They're not lucky enough to have those tools, but I don't want my characters to have those tools. Those tools are a little too easy mode for me. So I like to challenge myself a bit. So I'm a bit of a sweat lord dumbass. But the point is, rage arts need 8 frames to impact. They need 8 frames for the armor of the rage art to engage. Which means, in specific scenarios, like for example, I'm going to do a heat dash, okay, which is always, universally, plus 5 on block, plus 5. He's able to activate the rage art because he had, I didn't press anything. I'm at plus 5, but I didn't press anything. So what I could do is plus 5, he went for the rage art there, but it didn't come out because you could see that, well, I'm a bit late there. I'm doing the jab. I'm at plus 5. Jab only takes 10 frames, which means, what does that mean? My jab comes out in 5 frames. His rage art comes out in 8 frames. So, it activates, the armor activates in 8 frames, which means if I were to do something like this, down forward 1 is 13 frames, I'm at plus 5, He needs 8 frames. What's the difference there? 8 frames, right? So he gets to have access to his rage art for free if I try anything slower than 12 frames in this scenario, because 8 frames is all he needs. So I'm going to do a 12 frame attack now. 12 frames beats out rage art. Another thing I like to do with after doing a heat dash is throw, because all throws universally, this is another tip, everybody who has a throw, typically throws come out in 12 frames. 12, 12, 12. All of my throws. That's my 1+2. Here's my standard 1 throw. Here's my standard 2 throw. You can see they all have 12 frame startups. The 14 frames there that you see on the side, they're 12 to 14. That depends on the distance away you are from your character when you go to throw them. Sometimes the distance can be a bit further away, and of course, the further away you are, some moves take a little bit longer to connect. But that's basic frame data. Most throws in the game are 12 frames to impact, which means a heat dash on block is +5 into a throw. It's going to beat everything. I always love to go for throws against opponents that I've just landed a blocked heat smash on when I know that they're going to rage art, because I know that no matter what, if they try to power crush, my throw wins. If they try to rage art, my throw wins. If they try to parry, my throw wins. If they try to mash buttons, my throw wins. It's a great trick because throws are 12 frames to impact. Very good to know. But it also beats out rage arts because they require 8 frames, and I'm at +5, which makes my throw effectively 7 frames fast. Because a 12 frame throw minus 5 frames equals 7 frame throw, which beats out an 8 frame rage art. There you go. So that's the basic universal frame data that I've just gone over. I'm sorry that was such a fucking convoluted and long ass explanation of all this shit. But from jabs to rage arts to throws to everything that we just talked about, those rules apply to the entire cast, with a few exceptions here and there. But just keep that in mind. Pretend they apply to the entire cast, and then slowly break down the characters that those rules do not apply to as you run into them or as you encounter them online. But these are concepts that are so important to know. And the earlier that you understand them, the better you are for the future, and the more advanced you will get quicker. And I think orange ranks are a great spot to start, because orange ranks, you're not quite a beginner anymore, but you're certainly not an intermediate or an advanced level player. You're kind of in that gray area, that middle ground, where you understand the game enough, but you still have no fucking clue really what the fuck you're doing, right? The fact that you have some semblance of an understanding of the game means that I think this is the appropriate time to learn the universal concepts of frame data. Now that you understand these numbers, and you understand that they apply to the entire cast, you can move on and start deep diving into your own character. Learn about this very specifics of your character, and what exactly the frame data is for them, all the time, right? So now is the appropriate time to segue into the red ranks. Just a quick note, if you like my content, I stream Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays Tekken. Every Wednesday, I stream different games. Right now, I'm going over Resident Evil 4. I speedrun some of the Resident Evil games. I speedrun the Hitman games. I fuck around with the Siphon Filter games and the Metal Gear games and the Splinter Cell games. Those are my go-to franchises that I love, and those are probably the ones that I'm going to be streaming on Wednesdays consistently. But Tekken I stream 4 days a week. I also have an album, a music heavy metal album. It's fucking right here. I don't know, I'm going to post the album somewhere on the screen. And if you want to check out the album, I have the songs playing every time I stream on the intro, my Be Right Back screen, and my ending screen. Every time. They're songs that I wrote and recorded myself. They're all on this album, and they're fucking, they're my pride and joy right now. So if you really want to support me and you don't know how, you can buy my album. You can contribute to my Patreon, or my PayPal. You can also become a patron and contribute to the Patreon. You can fucking sub on Twitch. You can become a member on YouTube. I don't fucking know. If you want to support the content and you want to keep the channel afloat, I am very appreciative of it. And you can do all those things by clicking the description down below. All the links for everything that you possibly want, or anything that you want to click on, in regards to my shit is all in there, all the links. So just click away, do your thing. I appreciate the fuck out of it. Thank you for watching. Okay, so red ranks are, you're getting a little more advanced now. Red ranks definitely seem stronger in Season 2 compared to Season 1, in my opinion. But, you're hitting the ranks of Garyu, Shinryu, and Tenryu at this point. My opinion, I know this doesn't apply to a lot of red rank players out there, but I think you should deep dive big time into your character. You need to learn. By this time, I know this doesn't apply to, like I said, most red rank players don't have this concept, but this is where I think you should start learning this shit. Deep dive into your character and learn every little tidbit of information about them. And I'm talking about frame data out the fucking ass. Like, learn everything about all their moves, all their best moves, what moves they use specifically for combo fillers, understanding the concepts of what moves are and why they exist and what they are supposed to be used for. You know, like, you wouldn't throw out a move like this shit in the neutral to try to open up your opponent, because you're gonna get launch punished most of the time for doing that move. That move doesn't exist as a move that you're supposed to use to open up your opponent. That's what this shit is for. You know, this shit. Obviously this shit. You know? These are the moves you use to open up your opponent. Safe, mid pokes, counter hit tools that are safe, jab checks, down forward ones, you know, the odd low poke, something that's going to make your opponent want to duck you, that's kind of scary. Maybe not this type of a move, but, you know, you can certainly use it if it's because it's a low, even though it's launch punishable. You can definitely use this shit. If people aren't launching you for it, or ducking it, or blocking it at all, then it's free damage and free plus frames, so why not? Just make sure you know what your character has for moves, what the utility of those moves are, and how to use them properly. Red ranks is when you're supposed to be learning that stuff. So, the first thing I want to go over is, with red ranks, is learning a really decent combo with your character and not dropping the fucking thing. Stop. This is the rank where I think players should stop dropping combos, yet I still see that shit in blue ranks. I don't know why, but like, that's one of the most basic Tekken concepts there is learning how to not drop a combo. And, you know, I play Mishima's. I'm not warmed up right now, so I might drop this one, but if I'm just doing like a basic Heihachi combo, that's 97 damage. That's a pretty decent combo. That's like the level of combo I want to see from players at red ranks and above. If you're not able to do your top-notch combo, I'm not saying do some absurdly stupid, really difficult staple, because those typically aren't staple combos. You're not gonna like I don't even know what's a hard combo with Heihachi. I could start doing Korean backdash is something that red ranks need to learn as well. Like, getting out of dodge really fast. Like, Korean backdash, I use controller and I'm stiff right now. But Korean backdash is something that I recommend everybody fucking learn how to do. It's such an important tool. Korean backdashing in red ranks is where that should begin. So learn Korean backdash, which you can see the notations on the screen there. Essentially, you're doing back, quarter circle, back, neutral, quarter circle, back, back, neutral, you know, like a... See how fast I'm backdashing with that shit? So I'm doing back, quarter, so quarter circle back, back. Yeah, quarter circle back, neutral, quarter circle back, neutral, quarter circle back. That's essentially the input for your Korean backdash. If you play Nina or Brian or Paul and they have that sway shit every time you do quarter circle back, you might want to develop a tighter Korean backdash cancel. Your inputs are a little bit too finicky for them to just for you to just do a quarter circle back. You're doing the KBDC too sloppily, unfortunately. So what you need to learn though with your character's staple combo is how to incorporate heat. So if I'm going to say what's a good one? Actually, fuck. We'll do this in into tailspin, into this, and there you go. 101 damage combo, and that's incorporating everything. I did tornado spin, I did tailspin, I did heat burst, I did a heat dash, and then I ended it with the big hit, with the strongest hit that I have, which is an omen with Heihachi. I didn't do the perfect omen, but I still did an omen, right? So that's what you want to do. Learn how to do combos like that. This is where you should begin learning how to do that stuff. It's not that hard. If I can do it with Heihachi and Kazuya, those are the two hardest characters in the game to do combos with. If my dumbass could do that with these difficult characters, and you can do it with a bitch-ass character like Clive or Dragunov or Law or Paul or fucking Brian or... Well, not Brian. Brian's tricky too. Lee is also tricky, but, you know, characters like that. Lee and Brian are pretty tricky with their combos, but they're not that hard. Not compared to the Mishimas anyways. And Asuka... Like, I see Asuka players in red ranks and purple ranks and shit, they are just dropping combos. They're very not optimal at all. And Asuka has arguably the easiest combos in the game. Victor as well. Alisa as well. These characters are so fucking easy to play. And their combos do not drop. Ever. It's impossible to drop a fucking combo with Victor. If you're dropping combos and you're playing these characters, then you're not understanding the rhythmic pattern in which a combo is supposed to be performed. Think of it like a dance. Think of it like an instrument, like you're playing the drums or something. Combos aren't just mash the buttons and get the moves to come out. Combos are specifically timed inputs in succession. It's okay to mash the button a couple of times. Like electric, look how many times I'm hitting triangle there. Look how many times. Like 4 times to get my first electric, 3 times to get the second electric. Like I'm not, it's lenient. The inputs are lenient. But then if I land the combo, or if I land the launcher, fucking hell. You know? I mean, just look at how many times I'm mashing these buttons. But the point is to develop the rhythmic pattern so you understand when to mash the buttons, not just to press the buttons and then wonder why the combo keeps dropping. So, learn a very advanced staple combo for your character. You have to know these things. Deep dive into the character and figure out exactly what moves are supposed to be used for what purpose. You know, fast pokes are supposed to be used as pressure tools to open up the character, or your opponent, I mean. Certain moves exist to be specifically combo filler and nothing else, right? They're only good for combo filler. What else is there? There's pressure tools, moves that are plus on block. Those are some of your best moves that you have. Usually they're pretty slow and they come at some risk, like they're linear and they can be sidestepped, or they're duckable because they're highs, or they're punishable on block because they're low, but you can still, like this is a momentum building low, +6 on hit. So that's a pressure tool. This is another pressure tool. Forward 4. Because it's +7 on hit, and it's also +4 on block, right? So things like that you want to know. What else is there? There's, fast pokes are really important to know. Electric for the Mishimas is so important to know because it's a move that opens up your opponent, and it's a pressure tool at the same time. So it's one of the best moves in the game for that reason, right? So. Very, very important things to note. Pressure tools are huge. Deep diving into the character and knowing a massive combo and a good staple that's going to incorporate all the shit that you have in your repertoire and get some big damage. I mean, and carry them across the stage. You need to be mindful of that. Learning these things at this rank, if you're a Garyu and above, then you should know this stuff and you shouldn't be dropping basic fucking combos. It's not... Your most difficult combo in your character's repertoire is likely not that hard to do, and consistently at that. So, I can't stand watching these players do these fucking combos and then keep dropping them over and over again. Like, this is like day one training that people need to learn, and they're not doing it. I don't get it. So, please, for the love of fuck, just learn these fucking combos. It's the most basic form of fundamentals that Tekken has to offer. Next up, I'd say learn basic punishment, which means learn your while standing punishment, just your while standing 4, you know, and then your jab punishment. Start jab punishing everything, and start while standing 4 punishing everything. If you block something low, while standing 4 immediately. You don't have to launch it. You don't have to go for this. You don't even have to go for this. You know, like, this is your 13 frame move. If I'm fucking, my controller is trash, man. Holy shit. Oh my god. Yeah, I think this thing's fucking fried. I think I just screwed up my D-pad. Oh man, that sucks. Anyways, yeah, the D-pad's fucked. Oh god, it's so upsetting. At least I'm not online. That's good. Anyways, point is, things like, you know, while standing 1 into an omen, if I can do it 1 time, for fuck's sakes. There you go. Jesus fuck, my controller's so busted. But that's his 13 frame punish. This is his 15 frame punish. You know, you're gonna want to learn how to do your 15 frame punish down the road, because look how much damage you get for launching something that's minus 15. You get a full 91 damage combo just because I blocked something crouching and then I launched it at minus 15 because, you know, it was a big low or something like that I blocked. Don't worry about that big stuff yet. Just focus on the basic shit until you're comfortable with the concept of punishing. Till you understand when to press this button, 4-4. And making it land consistently after blocking certain moves. Jab punish as well from standing. Whatever your jab punish happens to be, it's usually a jab string that your character has. So, with Jack, it's forward 2, that's his fastest move, it's 10 frames to impact, that's his jab punish, that's his 10 frame punish from standing. But every character in the game, pretty much, has a while standing 4, 11 frame punish from crouch. So, incorporate this into your toolkit. Make sure you're punishing with the basic stuff in red ranks, at least. This is the journey, this is where the punishment journey begins. Next up, let's see. Frame setups and traps. So frame traps and setups like that are a very important part of the game. And honestly, if you want to be real with me for a second, I think that this is a concept you should learn early on in Tekken, like very, very beginning stages. But people are going to understand this concept more at red ranks, I feel. So I thought this would be an appropriate spot to place this concept. But essentially, a frame trap is where you put your opponent in a scenario where they are putting themselves at risk if they press any buttons after you've put them in an unfavorable position because you've done a move that's a pressure tool. This is why frame traps are set up by learning your character's pressure tools. With Kazuya, forward 4 is his pressure tool, is one of his pressure tools. So, I can do this. So forward 4, we'll just go with forward 4 for now. I've got a bunch of other moves with Kazuya that are plus on block, but this is a very universally known frame trap, okay? Forward 4 is plus 4 on block, as you saw there, right? Forward 4 is plus 4. And now Clive is trying to do the fastest thing that he has out of his while standing moves, is while standing 4. That's the fastest move Clive has from the crouching position. Which means any other move he tries to do is going to get seriously fucked up. But this is the fastest move he could possibly do in that scenario. And it still loses to my down forward 2 counter hit. And now I get a full launch because of that. This is called a frame trap. He blocked my offense. And now I get to continue my pressure and I get him to the wall and all that kind of cool shit. He blocked my offensive tool. And he tried to respond with some offense of his own. And he got fucked up for it, because he fell for the frame trap. He's at plus 4, or I'm at plus 4, sorry, he's at minus 4, and I went for a 14 frame move. So this is why you need to learn frame data with your character, so that you understand how frame traps work. If you can put them in a spot where the follow-up is going to guarantee a counter hit launch, or a counter hit of some sort, you know, something like this even, down back 1-2, if you could put him in a spot like that, where there's nothing they can do but block after they eat the move. They can do other things like Power Crush and Rage Art and all this shit, but for the most part, they're better off just blocking. You're better off blocking when you block a move like this, because it's a pressure tool. These moves exist to build up momentum for you. And you need to learn what these moves are. A pressure tool is defined by it being a low that's plus on hit, or a mid that's plus on block. Those are pressure tools. So every heat smash in the game virtually is a pressure tool, and they're all like, it's arguably the best pressure tools in the game, because nobody's pressing buttons after blocking a heat smash unless you're a total fucking idiot. Because heat smashes are extremely plus on block in this game, and they have no fucking business being that plus, but they are. Like, some of them are plus 10 or more. It's fucking insane. Heat smashes are ridiculous for how easy they are to do and how much reward they give. But with a move like this, just a simple pressure tool, boom, I get a counter hit launch every time. That's a frame trap. These are things that people need to learn at red ranks, in my opinion. So definitely focus on learning what your character's pressure tools are, going through their move list. If you don't know what they are, you're not familiar enough with your character, and this is the rank where you should start being that familiar with your character. So let's see. Use heat more efficiently. So instead of doing heat burst and heat smash, and that's it, why not try doing some cool shit? Try going for heat dash. Try going for a heat move. You know, like something that, well, he's fucking blocking everything right now, but if you go for this shit, you know, that's a move that I only have access to in heat. What about this? This is an amazing fucking move. And I still have heat bar after that, so now I can still use my heat smash after that. What a fucking concept. But characters have other heat tools besides just heat burst and heat smash. Just doing heat burst and heat smash is wasting your heat bar. When your character is in heat, you get chip damage with all your moves. All of your moves are potentially stronger because you get extensions to certain moves, right? Like, for example, my Hell Sweep here, I get an extension. So what used to be a 33 damage Hell Sweep now becomes a 45 damage Hell Sweep. Or 31 damage Hell Sweep, my bad. I mean, a 33 if you do this shit. If you do this, 33 damage there. But what that does is now my Hell Sweep becomes 45 damage, and I still have heat. I can then do Oki after that. I can set him up for, you know, like an electric. I get free electrics in heat. I don't even have to input it properly. It's just electrics all day. Costs a little bit of heat bar, but who cares? And then I can still do a heat dash, or I can still do a heat smash out of it. You know, I don't agree with that electric change, by the way. I think they should get rid of that shit. Having free electrics in heat is fucking stupid, and it doesn't take enough heat as far as I'm concerned, so that's kind of something busted about the Mishimas that should be removed, in my opinion. We all worked our asses off to learn the muscle memory for that electric input. We should be rewarded for it, and giving it out for free while the character's in heat is slapping us all in the face collectively, Bamco. So fix the fucking game. So stop just heat burst into heat smash, in other words. Use your heat tools. Very important thing to know. So yeah, we talked about pressure tools, we talked about Korean backdash cancel, and incorporating the pressure tools in your offense is a seriously important thing to do. So in summary, you need to learn max damage combos. Don't learn your absurdly difficult staples. Like with Kazuya, he can do 3 electrics into something. Like, a staple like that, I'm not asking people to do, right? I don't expect that from the majority of players in the world. That's not, it takes me forever to try to land something like that, and I'm very consistent with my electrics, and I've been playing Kazuya forever. But that's not a staple in the broad spectrum. I'm talking about like incorporating a basic staple in your move list with your, say you main Kazuya, then this should be a combo that you're looking to try to master. Of course, I can't do it when I'm fucking speaking because I suck at this shit. You know, things like this. That should be the staple that you're trying to aim for. At these ranks, at red ranks, in my opinion. Because doing a staple like that with any other character that's going to net you, 90 plus damage at a wall and get them to the wall with full wall carry. It's not that much to ask, and it's 100% doable at the rank that you're at. So, red ranks, that's where I think you guys should be. All right, purple ranks, you guys are up next, and this is where shit's gonna get intense, guys. I'm gonna expect a lot from you players. If you are Mighty Ruler, Flame Ruler, or Battle Ruler, or above, all this shit that I've already talked about should be well within your repertoire. You should have a grasp on all the concepts we've discussed in this video thus far. If you have not watched the earlier colors in this video, and you're a purple rank player, please go back and watch that shit. The yellow, orange, and red rank stuff is going to be important to you guys, I'm sure, because I don't see a lot of the purple rank stuff that I'm expecting to see in purple ranks. A lot of players in purple ranks just play like ass. And it's upsetting, because these are supposed to be high ranks. Mighty Ruler, Flame Ruler, Battle Ruler, that's a high rank. Statistically speaking, if you go to ewgf.gg, you can find all the statistics for this game and how many players are at the rank and what the demographic is. And specifically between Flame Ruler and Battle Ruler, you are in the top 50% of players. Battle Ruler is the top 48% of players, which means you're better than 52% of the community, and there's over 3 million people that have bought this fucking game. I'm sure more than half of that are online players, so we'll say 2 million people play online, or have played online, with a consistent number on Steam being currently like, 3,500 plus PlayStation and Xbox. Like, Tekken's not doing very well right now, so the online capacity at the moment is pretty low. But within the year and a half that this game's been out, there have been approximately 2 million-ish people playing online, I'm sure, thereabouts. It's got to be close to that. And they've all ranked up in some way or another. And in that sense, you are in the top million. So you're better than over 1 million players in the world, who have bought this game if you have hit Battle Ruler. So there's really no excuse for not learning this shit at purple ranks. First thing I want you to do is master your character and be very aware of how to approach the character in a combo, or your opponent in a combo, in regards to the wall. So wall positioning, wall mindfulness, awareness of where the wall is. Because you always want to take them to the wall. You want to do everything in your power to ensure that you get a wall splat so you can do that shit. Obviously not that, but get him to the wall with any combo that you can think of. Hopefully the max damage combo that you've got. And then make sure you get a wall splat every time. I don't care what it is. You could even do something like this. Or even, get him to the wall. The point is, be able to adjust your combos on the fly depending on how far away you are from the wall. Wall mindfulness is so important, because if you're just getting shit damage combos against players because you keep dropping them, or you're not getting wall splats into heat burst bound, into wall combo follow-up, you should be getting that every time you launch them and get them to the wall. It's not that hard. Most characters, especially this bitch you see on screen, Hwarang, can carry people to the wall to wall, any stage, effortlessly. Except for the massive stages like Yakushima, or the Colosseum, or the third floor of the 3 stage, whatever the fuck that is. The Jin's Brain stage, I can't remember what the fuck it's called. I like training on that stage because I enjoy the 3 different levels that it has. But the bottom floor, where Jun and Jin are seen in the background, that's like a large wall stage as well, so you're not likely going to get them to the wall in that stage. But every other stage in the game, more or less, you can get them to the wall with one combo, most of the time. Especially if you start in the middle of the stage, as you always do in the beginning of rounds. So there's no excuse for dropping combos, not getting wall splats. Like, you're fucking purple ranks now. Clean your shit up, dude. If you're not doing this at Mighty Ruler, you have a lot of work to do. If you manage to get Mighty Ruler and up without learning this shit, you still need to go back and learn this shit because you're going to need it for when you want to advance more. This is basic shit. So, next up, learn how to sidestep characters correctly. Every character has a weak side, and every character has moves that circumvent people from sidestepping towards their weak side. Every character has moves that are very linear to that side. Some characters' weak side is much weaker than other characters' weak side. Like Kazuya is typically very, very weak to sidestep and sidewalk left, but he's not. But like Hwoarang, same thing. Typically quite weak to sidestep and sidewalk left, although not quite as weak as Kazuya because he has got more moves that track to that side. For example, if I wanted to sidestep Hwoarang, let's record a scenario real quick. If I'm going to sidestep Hwoarang to his quote-unquote weak side, I have to be mindful of certain attacks. This is a down forward 2 that's safe on block and tracks to sidestep and sidewalk left. Now, sidestep left is typically what you want to do against Hwoarang. But if he's throwing out down forward 2s all the time, then you want to sidestep him right. And then you want to get a whiff punish. Look at that, it says punish. I got that punish for free because he threw out something and I stepped him correctly. So, there you go. And now he's, you know, as long as I don't drop the combo, he's dead. You know what I mean? Stuff like that is super important to apply. Key note in understanding how to apply sidestep whip punishing like that correctly is to understand how active frames work, right? At this rank, you should know that already, but let me go over it real quick. Once the move has been thrown out, the active frames are, well, once it's no longer active, the hitbox still, the character can then be whiff punished, and you don't have to worry about the move connecting anymore, even though they're still recovering from the move. He's bringing his fist down, he's recovering from the uppercut, and in that box, that's where you put your punish, right? So you don't throw it out without, you don't throw it out right away, because I get counter hit. If I'm sidestepping and then I'm trying to punish too soon, I'm going to get launched every time. I have to be careful with this. Sidestep, appropriately whip punish. Every time. This is something you got to practice. But it's very easy to do once you get the hang of it. It's just the timing shit that you have to worry about, right? Jesus. I'm pressing too early. See? Sidestep into whip punish. It's gonna happen. Wait for the move to come out, otherwise that happens. Just practice sidestepping and don't even worry about the whip punish first. Just practice the ability to sidestep. The whip punish comes after. If you're lucky enough to have a character who's got a down forward 2 or a hop kick that launches. Well, I mean, almost all hop kicks launch, but a down forward 2 that launches. Then there's never a time in which you will whiff the whiff punish, or you will not get the whiff punish, because you've got an easy access launch punish every time you sidestep something correctly. Knowing how to sidestep characters, and knowing the direction in which you want to typically step them, or walk them, is very crucial to characters' game plans, and how to beat the character. Let's go over a few things with characters real quick. So, for example, which way do you sidestep specific characters typically? Like I said, they all have moves that can track you to the side that is their weak side. But that is for them to figure out on the fly. If you're stepping them to their correct weak side, then they are going to start using the moves that track to that side, and then you're going to have to start dodging the other direction to avoid those moves. And then that dance continues. That's the cycle of Tekken. So Alisa, typically you want to sidestep left. Side walk left is pretty good against her too, but side step left is very effective because a lot of moves that she has are pretty quick. Asuka, side step, side walk right. Azucena, side step left. Unless she's in Libertador stance, then you typically want to side step right. Even then, side step right into block most of the time because she's got a lot of pressure shit in Libertador. But she's a pretty balanced character. Side step right beats a lot of her moves in Libertador. Brian, side step right eats Brian for breakfast. Don't really side walk this character. You're going to side step right into duck, typically. Claudio, side step left, typically. You don't really side walk Claudio to the left. Side step is very much the better way to go. Deviljin, side step right into duck, beats most of his moves. Side step left beats a lot of his scary attacks. Side step left typically for Mishimas is what you want to do. But sidestep right into duck is very good for Deviljin as well. Not very many of his moves track to that side. Deviljin's quite linear in general. Dragunov, he's an interesting character, so you're going to want to sidestep him left from a distance, sidestep him right at close range. That's the typical Dragunov counterplay, anyways. Feng, sidestep left. Sidewalk left also works very well against Feng. Hwoarang, sidestep left when he's in left foot forward stance. Sidestep right when he's in right foot forward stance. And then watch out for the moves that track both directions. He's tricky to sidestep. People say that the counterplay for Hwoarang is just sidestep, bro. It's not that hard. Yeah, it's pretty tricky. Hwoarang's got some tracking shit, and sidestepping isn't always going to work, as you saw when he's got a safe 15-frame down forward 2 that launches. Sidestepping isn't always the easiest thing to do in the game, but it does work, and it is one of the best ways to get damage on your opponent, by sidestepping, creating whip punishes, and launching them on reaction. And that's something that you should know and be able to do consistently in purple ranks. Jack, sidestep left is pretty damn good, typically. Just watch out for his down forward 2. He's got the same thing as Hwoarang, except his down forward 2 is minus 14, so he's more balanced than Hwoarang with his bullshit down forward 2. Jin, sidestep right, typically. Side walk right is also very good against Jin. June, side walk right. Side step right doesn't do a whole lot. Side walk right, you're in a favorable position most of the time. She has a lot of shit that tracks to sidestep left. Kazuya, sidestep and side walk left. Side walk left is probably the most effective way to beat Kazuya. That's always been his counterplay since the dawn of time. King, sidestep, and sidewalk right. Kuma, sidestep, sidewalk right. Lars, sidestep, sidewalk right. Law, sidestep right. Sidewalk doesn't usually work because he's got a lot of shit that can track to a sidewalk. His strings often realign. So sidestep, beat out a fast poke, launch him. Lee, sidewalk left, typically. Sidestep left works too, but sidewalk left is your best friend. Leo, sidestep right. Okay? Unless Leo does back 1-4, then you sidestep left in the middle of the string. Or if Leo is in K&K stance, which is the Jinji Du Li stance in Tekken 8, it used to be called Kink stance, and the lower stance used to be called Buck stance, but that's now Fobu stance. I don't know, they keep fucking up the goddamn terminology. Sidestep right is Leo's enemy. You don't want to be doing it. Leo hates it when people sidestep him right. But then be mindful, again, of his down forward 2. Down forward 2 with Leo tracks fully to sidestep left, and quite a bit to sidestep right, considering that's Leo's weak side. So just be mindful of that. Leo's down forward 2 is pretty fucking stupid. Probably the best down forward 2 in the game. Leroy, sidewalk left. He's got strings that realign, bullshit strings that realign. But sidewalk left is typically how you beat Leroy. Same with Lily. Sidestep, sidewalk left. Sidewalk left is typically more effective against Lily. Also, all of these statements are just a blanket statement. There are times where you want to sidestep the character right. There are times where you want to sidewalk the characters right. Or vice versa. But this is just a general play-by-play as to what the character's weak side is. And keep in mind that when I say things like sidestep left and sidestep right, or sidewalk right or sidewalk left, I'm talking about your character's perspective. So, towards their left side or towards their right side, that's the direction you want to go. Sidestep left, side walk left, or side step right, side walk left, side walk right. Okay. Lily, typically sidewalk left is good. Nina, sidewalk right. Side step right is also fantastic too. Same thing with Panda, side step right. Paul, side step right is better than side walk right for him, but he does have shit that you want to sidestep him left on as well. Raven, side walk left, side step left is good too. Reina, as typical Mishima fashion, side step left, very good, but Reina has a down forward 2 that tracks to that side to sidestep left, so be careful of Reina's bullshit. She has some really good moves that track you to sidestep left. She's got a 15 frame down forward 2 launcher. Shaheen, sidestep right, but he's got a lot of moves that keep you in check, so you're not going to be stepping Shaheen a whole lot in general. His down forward 1 is amazing, and it tracks to sidestep right, so be careful of that. If he starts throwing that out, then sidestep the down forward 1 to the left on a hard read. Something that we'll have to talk about in the near future, hard reads. Steve, not a character you run a sidestep. You kind of just want to block this guy, but sidestep left if you have to. Not side walk unless he's doing his heat smash. Victor, sidestep right. Xiaoyu, sidestep left. Typically. Side walk left is pretty good too. Yoshimitsu, I'd say side walk left, sidestep. Yeah, side walk left is probably the best for him. Sidestep left works too, but... Zalfina, sidestep left, depending on stances. Sometimes you have to sidestep her right. If she's in Tarantula, then you want to sidestep to the left. If she's in Mantis, you want to sidestep to the right. So, it really depends. Eddie, sidestep right, unless he's in relaxed position, then try sidestepping left. That's gonna dodge a lot of his shit from relax. Lydia, sidestep right is your best friend. Side walk right is pretty good too. Heihachi is very linear, probably the most linear character in the game. So I'd say either direction is fine. You can sidestep him either direction. That's the biggest weakness for Heihachi. Although sidestep left is typically what you go for with Mishima's. In Heihachi's case, both directions are fine. Clive is absurd. It's difficult to step this character at any time. You can't see him right now because I'm in the way, but I'm on Clive's image right now, and he's insane. So sidestepping him right is not that consistent, but it works. Anna, same thing, sidestep right, but again, it's not consistent because she's so crazy with her moves that track. So sidestep, sidewalk right, Anna as well. So I hope that helps. Take notes if you have to, and then go through their move lists and figure out what's the appropriate way to beat the character that you have an issue with, right? So, again, these are not catch-alls. You're not going to obviously be able to sidestep and sidewalk left everything that you can, again, everything that he has. Huarong, for example. Sidestep left should be your go-to response for this character. But as we already went over, he's got moves that track to that direction, right? This is sidestep left, this is sidestep... Well, this is sidestep left, this is sidestep right. This is sidewalk left, this is sidewalk right. I shouldn't be explaining this to purple rank players, but I think a lot of you guys need these lessons. Holy fuck, for the shit I'm seeing online. One other thing I'm seeing purple rank players do that I can't believe I'm seeing in these ranks is whiffing mid-stage. We talked about this earlier, but you guys need to stop whiffing to create openings for your opponent. You really do. You need to stop whiffing shit just because you're hoping it's gonna hit. Cut that shit out immediately, so you should already know spatial control from previous color grades that we've already talked about. So, another thing I'm noticing with purple ranks is they use a lot of unsafe tools to open up the opponent. Well, not that. Okay. So, that's not what I was talking about there. It's not what I was going to typically go for. But, okay, so say you want to do... I've seen purple rank Kazuya players do this shit. Or this shit. This is very common. Or this shit. Just in the open. A lot of Kazuyas will just do this shit. Not because they sidestepped and whiff punished something, Not because they're blocking a minus 13 attack. Not because they're calling out their opponent on a hard read. No, they're doing this to try to open up their opponent, and this move is minus 19 on block. So, for example, if I wanted to get Huarong to punish something, for example, I'll do a record, a punish. He's going to block something. Okay, so record this. Now we're going to, look at that. So Huarong gets his punish every time. There's nothing I can do. Huarong gets a free launch of my down back 1-2 every single time when he just does back 3, because that's a 16 frame move and I'm minus 19 and it's a long range punish that he's got. So, why are you doing things that get you killed for no reason? Stop doing random bullshit. It's just not the way to pilot a character. Trying to play in such an unsafe manner is only hurting more than helping. Stop trying to do unsafe bullshit to try to open up your opponent. Okay? Try to play as safe as possible. You don't have to throw out those dumb moves. This is never a good idea to do when you can just jab check or forward 4 or down back 4 or, I don't know, electric for fuck's sakes. Why are you back 1-2ing or down back 1-2ing out of nowhere without a hard read or a punish involved? I don't get it. That makes no sense to me. So stop playing so fucking unsafe at purple ranks. And learning how to adapt on the fly with the opponent as well in purple ranks is something that's so important. Being able to identify that every time I sidestep this Huarong to the left, he does a down forward 2. Every time you fall for that shit, it's your own fault. Or every time Law does a Law player will do like 4-3 into down 2-3, his flow chart, or he'll do like a down forward 1 into down 2-3 because that's what Law players love to do. Or they'll do down 2-3 is typically one of most Law players' biggest fucking flow charts. They love to do like 1-2-3. The 1-2-3, the jab knee string into down 2-3, because they're at the perfect frames to set that up. They're minus frames after 1-2-3, but they're not punishable. And down 2 is a low crush or a high crushing 10 frame attack. I think it's 10 frames. Might be a little bit slower, 11 frames or something. Regardless, down 2-3 is very, very, very fast counter hit launcher. I think it's 11 frames. Maybe even 12. I'm not sure. I don't play Law. But point is, it's a very fast counter hit, low hitting, high crushing launcher. And if you're constantly falling for their dumb shit, that's your failure to adapt to your opponent on the fly. In purple ranks, you should know how to do that. Adaptation is crucial in Tekken. If you can't adapt, you're going to lose every time. The thing I want to talk about with Huarong now is ducking, not Huarong specifically, but learning how to duck strings. Right? This is a mid-high string. A very, very abusable string by Huarong. Very easy string to counter because it's so slow. This is why I picked this string, because it's a very slow one to visually confirm is happening on the screen. And so many players just let Huarong get away with that shit. And people throw this out in the neutral like it's safe. I don't get it. Like, just duck and launch this shit. Every time. You get it no matter what, because Huarong is in flamingo stance after that kick. And there's nothing the Huarong player can do. Duck and launch. Huarong, and it's not just Huarong. Every character in the game has strings that are either low, high, or mid-high. Nina's got a fuck ton of them. Mid-low, low-high, mid, stuff like that. Every time you see a string, try just ducking the second hit. Whenever you see an opponent throw out a move that you're familiar with, that you know has a follow-up, why not try ducking that? Just see what happens. I've seen this string so many times. Every time this Huarong player does a string, I just let him do it. I let him block. I let him get me on block, and he's plus 10, right? He's plus 10, and he's in right flamingo stance. It's dangerous. So why not just try ducking the second hit, seeing if it is duckable? Looks like it could be maybe a mid. Also, very much looks like a high, though, so maybe I can duck that second hit. Oh, wow, look at that fucking shit. Every time, and then I can get a full launch. Holy shit. Just try that concept out with every character in the game. Block the first hit. If you know it's a string, duck the second hit. If you get smoked by the mid, because it happened to be a mid as the second hit in the string, that's fine. At least now you know not to duck that specific string anymore. But the next one that comes out might be a high, so try ducking it and see what happens. If you dodge the hit, then try launch punishing it, and boom. Now you're playing Tekken. What a fucking concept. This is basic shit, and it's hard. It is hard to do. A lot of players, even in gold ranks, have issues with doing this concept, but I think this is something people should be learning at purple ranks. So, please, start ducking fucking strings. It's the most important piece of defense I've talked about thus far. Also, learning how to lab characters. This is a very, also, difficult concept. This, like I said, the big shit is happening now. We're in purple ranks. We're getting into the higher tier of players. You're in the top 50% of the player base at Flame Ruler, Battle Ruler-ish. Definitely Battle Ruler. So why the fuck aren't you learning the top 50% concepts? You know? If you're a purple rank, you should know these concepts. You should be learning this stuff. This is basic stuff that you need to be focusing on at this level. If you've got so much homework to do because you don't know any of the stuff we've talked about in red and orange ranks yet, I'm sorry, you need to start focusing on that stuff first, and then come back to this shit. Even if you already are purple rank, it doesn't matter. You've achieved the rank earlier than you should have, in my opinion. Because you should know all this stuff already by Mighty Ruler. So, learning how to lab a character is tricky, because you have to find different ways to beat their move list, right? And so in order to do that, you have to test certain things, right? So if I'm going to, well, let's just go back to what we were just doing with the uppercut. So you jab into uppercut. It's -7 on block, so I can't, okay. I can interrupt him after jab, fine. But what about, I can't sidestep him left there. I can't duck it because I still get hit anyways, and then he's still plus and it's his turn. He doesn't launch me, but it's not duckable because it's a mid. It's a 15 frame move. So, and I can't punish it on block. What if I make him whiff it? Yeah, if I try to backdash and he whiffs it, maybe I can get a whiff punish. You know, that's pretty cool. If I'm able to do that, awesome. I get a whiff punish for doing a backdash successfully. So maybe you can try that. Or, see what happens if you sidestep. Maybe I can power crush through it. Oh, I can sidestep it right. Oh, sick. Nice. Now I've got an idea on how to beat this guy's one move in his move list. Now go over the other moves that this character has. Go over the best moves, his main techniques. You know how to work that, right? Go into pick the character as your character. Go into move list. Go to main techniques. Go scroll down the list, and then take a mental note of those moves, and then go back to your main. Pick that character as your dummy, and then practice against those main techniques that the move list has laid out for you. See how to beat those. And do that for 3 or 4 characters at the start. To start with. Take your 3 most hated characters. You know, for me, it's Jin, Lars, and I guess right now, King. But I also hate Clive, I also hate Hwarang, you know, I also hate fucking Anna. I also hate Alison, Asuka. You know, there's a bunch of characters in this game I fucking hate. Seriously despise. But for me, I'd probably... Jin, I know the matchup. He's just really busted. So he's a bitch character to fight against. But he's... because he does everything so well, he's a perfect character. And he's got Mishima tools on top of that. So it's hard to deal with that shit, of course. But why not learn the defensive capabilities of King? Go over King's main techniques. Figure out how to break all his throws. Figure out what the breaks are for his multi-throws. Then check out which moves he has that he uses all the time in neutral that you see, like forward, forward, neutral 2, down, forward 2, hop kick, full crouch, down, forward 2, down, forward 1, 2, jab, forward 4, fucking Atlas Hammer as a panic tool. A lot of kings love to use that shit. Just go over the tools that he has and see what the appropriate counterplay is. Can you sidestep it? Can you which direction do you sidestep it? Can you duck the move if it's a string? Can you backdash out of the way? Probably not, because it's Tekken 8. Backdash in this game sucks. Is it punishable on block? Is it launch punishable on block? All these things are crucial to know, and make sure you go over everything. Is it interruptible with a power crush? Is it interruptible with a jab or a dick jab? No? Okay. Well, what about sidestepping? Does sidestepping work? No? Okay, what about ducking? Can I duck under the string? Oh, okay, I can duck under the string. Okay, that's the counterplay. Make sure you go over all of the potential things that you can do. One other thing to note for purple ranks. Typically, this is a cheat sheet concept, but you know how every button is attached to the limb of a character? Like the 1 button is attached to your left punch, the 2 button is attached to your right punch, 3 button is your left kick, 4 button is your right kick, right? Basic shit from fucking beginner ranks that we've already talked about. Well, if a move is something that comes out on the left side of the character, like my jab, for example, then I should be able to theoretically sidestep it to my left, right? Which means Hwarang's left, because he's the defender in this scenario. So Kazuya's jab, or down forward 1, is down forward 1, for example. It's his left limb. So you should be able to sidestep that move left, or sidewalk that move left, because it's coming out from Kazuya's left side. So dodging to Kazuya's right side is correct. And Kazuya's right side is also your character's left side, because fucking obviously. So if a move comes out like down forward 3 or down forward 1, step it to the left. If a move comes out like down forward 4 or back 2 or something, step it to the right, because it's the other side of his body, right? He's using his other limbs. There's a cheat sheet. There you go. The whole concept of sidestepping left and sidestepping right for certain characters, depending on the character, that concept applies because we're talking specifically about how to address their main techniques, the main tools you see them use in the neutral. If you typically want to sidestep the character left, it's because 60+% of their best tools are useless to that side. So that side dodges their best tools. But they also have like 30 to 40% of their other good tools that track to that side. So you do have to know the main techniques of the characters that you're trying to defend against, and which way to sidestep. And typically how you figure that out is just by watching the move and seeing which limb is used for the move. Oh, they use his right punch. Well, then I should sidestep it to the right. Right? Because it came off his right fist. Unless it's the electric. Electric is probably one of the only exceptions to this rule. Electric is very good because it tracks to sidestep right, despite it coming out on Kazuya's right side. So you have to sidestep the electric to the left. And it has to be perfectly timed as well. So, again, Tekken is a hard game. It's complex. It's very deep. There's a lot of shit that goes into being able to defend properly. That's why defense in this game is so much fucking harder than offense. That's why people love to play characters like Clive and Hwarang and Law and fucking Asuka and June and Lars and King and fucking you name it. Insert offensive character, effectively offensive character here. Alisa, Anna, Nina, Victor, Chaoyu, like all these characters, Leo, are so fucking good at being aggressive. Dragunov, very, very amazing at being aggressive. Jin, as well. They have pressure tools for days. They're hard to sidestep. So a good offense is a great defense. Typically is the quote, right? But if you have great defense, then you can make use of all of your tools far more effectively than if you simply just have good offense. If you just have good offense, you might be able to beat an opponent who's got subpar defense more than they can beat you. But as soon as their defense improves, you're going to die more often to them. Because as difficult as defense is in this game, it's crucial to learn that shit because offense is fucking everywhere right now. This game is about pure, unadulterated fucking offense. And learning defense in a game like that, yes, it's daunting, it's very difficult, but it's so fucking important to learn. You have to learn defense. And that's all about movement and using the 3D space to your advantage. So I hope that helps. And now we're going to be moving on to what I consider the beginning of high-level Tekken ranks. Alright, blue ranks. You guys are Fujin, Raijin, Kishin, Bushin. In this scenario, in these ranks, you guys are the elite level players of the game now. Blue ranks and Fujin and above in Season 2, very different from Fujin and above in Season 1. Fujin is still technically the most popular rank right now. But Fujin players consist of what I think about 38% of the player base right now. You're in the top 38%. I said that wrong. 38% of the player base isn't Fujin. Fujin players are in the top 38% of the player base. That's huge. That's fucking huge. You are very much in the higher level elite status of the player base. Top 40%. So, in this sense, blue ranks are definitively where things start to get ridiculous. Like, it's just a fucking nut show right now, trying to rank up in blue ranks in ranked right now in Season 2, because everything's so volatile. Offense has never been more... Tekken has never been built more around offense than it is now. So, for blue rank players, you need to have extensive knowledge of the entire cast. If you're not able to rank up properly in the blue ranks, odds are you don't know much about the characters that you're losing against. So, extensive knowledge of the entire cast, which takes time, it takes experience, takes labbing. You have to fucking lab and do the homework if you want to advance, I'm sorry. But if you're a fucking Fujin player and above, then get off your lazy ass and start fucking labbing characters. You're never gonna hit Tekken King or above if you're if you can't be bothered to lab the shit. If it's not fun for you, if you find labbing boring, maybe Tekken's just not the game for you and you shouldn't play it. But details about labbing that people need to know about, very, very basic shit, we've already covered, right? All of the color grades before this, we've covered all the defense, we've covered all the offense, and how to main your character, how to lab your character, how to lab other characters, how to understand basic data, universal frame data in the game, how to understand your character's frame data. Now we're going to get into some more advanced shit, like how to sidestep certain strings. I don't mean at the beginning of the string, I mean within the string's attacks. So we've got a few characters here that I want to go over that have moves that you can do that with. Starting with Xiaoyu. She's got this crazy fucking move in Heat, right? It's +6 on block. It's mid-high mid. You can't duck the second hit, it jails. So as you see there, I'm holding my down forward and then I'm going back to, so I'm doing down forward or down back during the high, and I can't duck it. That's because it's known as a jailing string. Jailing strings mean that you cannot duck or interact whatsoever in between the two hits of the string. One hit connects, another hit connects. There's no ducking or moving or attacking in between those two hits. It jails you from doing anything at all. So, in that sense, I'm stuck being forced to block this bitch, and then she's fucking +6 in my face, back turn, and I took chip damage. What the fuck? Cheap ass bullshit, but guess what? You can sidestep this shit. Sidestep right. Kazuya's down forward 1 is trash, but you know what I'm talking about. Do something. Do something. So you can sidestep that string to the right. It's very tricky to time, but these are things that you should be doing every time you see these types of strings in blue ranks. We'll move on to the next character I want to go over. I want to go over a few of them just to show people that a lot of characters have strings like this. So June's next on the list, and the string I have for her is this shit right here. So 4, 4, 3, 3+4. You can actually sidestep this either direction, whereas with Xiaoyu, I mean, you probably have to sidewalk. Well, I guess you can't sidestep it left. So yeah, always sidestep this one right. Get used to doing this. Familiarize yourself with the animation so that you can do this every time. You know, like, you have to get used to this shit. So, very common string. It's also +3 on block. So every time you get hit by that string on block, it's June's turn again. So it's a very shit. And the first move is a homing attack, so you can't sidestep the first attack, and you can interrupt the second move with the jab or anything like that. I don't think you can electric there, but no, I don't think so. No, it doesn't look like it. So 12 frames, I'm assuming, is the fastest. Yeah, 12 frames trades. So you can interrupt with an 11 frame attack, but you can also jab. Into follow-up, into combo. Right? But that's kind of trash. You can get a somewhat decent back turn combo. So always remember to sidestep certain moves. The correct direction. Sidestep left would get clipped by both the Xiaoyu and the June string. So make sure that you sidestep both those moves right. Let's find out. Let's find other characters. Maybe a character that we have to sidestep left the move. Let's see. Let's see if I can find one. So Leo is next. What you can do here, back 1-4 is one of Leo's best attacks because it gives Leo +9 on block, +9, which, I mean, essentially it's +6 because Leo's fastest move from this stance, from the kink stance, which is that upward, that stance right there, where Leo hits you with kink 2, KNK 2, right? So, this seems like a pretty busted-ass string, right? And you can't sidestep this move to the right. You keep getting clipped. Every time I go for the sidestep right, I get clipped. I get fucked right up. So, you gotta make sure you sidestep the move correctly. Sidestep it left. Even if it trades with a 2, you can do all kinds of shit. Why not just go for like a counter hit mid launcher or something like that? You know, do anything like that. You're gonna have to be very quick, obviously. Unfortunately, Leo is a tricky character. But, it is doable once you practice how it works. So you just have to be aware of what the string looks like and then sidestep it on reaction. Practice the timing of these things. I'm going to move on to two more characters, and then we'll move on to the next comment about what I think blue rank players should be learning. So Nina has a lot of strings. This one particularly is pretty annoying because it's a running mid-mid string. So it can be pretty frustrating. But hey, guess what? We can sidestep it right. Unfortunately, we don't get an electric for that, so we do have to go with a mid punish. That's why characters that have mid launchers are very privileged. I mean, we don't have a lot of options. You can launch Nina if you're very quick, or if you're delayed a little bit. You do get a full launch punish for that. But you can't do it off, like, immediately. You have to delay it slightly. So keep that in mind if you're a Mishima player. But if you're not, if you're literally any other type of player, you can just launch it for free immediately. Any other character besides Kazuya and Heihachi. Just sidestep it right, Launch right away with your mid fucking launcher. Okay, every character has one. Even Steve has one now, since they gave him one in Season 2 with up 2. Amazing that he's fucking got that bullshit now, but they made everybody somewhat easier this season, including Kazuya, which drives me nuts. But regardless, there's another string that you need to look out for and sidestep correctly. I don't think you can sidestep it left. No. No, you can't. No. So you have to sidestep it right. So the direction is significant, it does matter, and it's something you're going to have to practice. But if you're a fucking Fujin or above, there's no excuse for not being able to do this shit. If you can't already do this, or you didn't know this was a thing, I'm disappointed that you already have blue ranks, because that's just the name of the game in Tekken 8. They're giving out ranks for fucking free. You don't have to learn this fucking game anymore. Pick a strong character and you get blue ranks all day. It's ridiculous, without having proper fundamentals. This is basic fundamental bullshit that you need to know before getting up to the high ranks, and I can't believe that people are already in the blue ranks that don't know this stuff. We'll go one more character, and then we'll move on to the next lesson. Okay, so we have Lily here. I actually have a lot of adoration for Lily. I like Lily a lot. She's one of my favorite female characters in the cast. Doesn't have a whole lot of bullshit, even though a lot of players will say that she does. I don't play Lily myself, but I feel like this character has the potential to teach players really good Tekken early on in their adventure, in their endeavor, because she doesn't have a lot of significant bullshit mechanics that are super abusable all the time. And she does have a lot of counterplay. That being said, she eats the Mishimas for breakfast. She's a fucking A-list anti-Mishima character. So if you're fighting Lily with Kazuya or Heihachi or Reina or Devil Jin, the Lily player is going to usually eat you for breakfast, but you can circumvent a lot of the Lily's bullshit by sidestepping the moves that she has correctly. So this is an annoying-ass string because she's got the low as well. And what you can do in this string is, you fucking guessed it, you can sidestep it, and this is one of the strings where you can sidestep both directions. I wanted to end on a string where that is possible, because so far we've only had strings where you can sidestep it one specific direction and that's it. And you can get your punish immediately. Just fucking go for it. Fucking goddamn Kazuya's heat smash. Or heat burst. I would recommend you actually sidestep the string to the left, because otherwise you get that. I'd rather have a front combo. You know, I get all that just because I sidestepped the string correctly. So, major thing that people need to know. Certain strings in the game, there are other strings, other characters. Almost every character in the game, more or less, maybe not all, well, 75% of the cast, at least, has strings that you can interrupt by sidestepping in between the hits. Okay? Your job is to find out what those strings are. How you find that out? Typically you want to look for strings that are, you know, the last hit is a little bit slow to come out. Try sidestepping it. See what happens. If it doesn't work to sidestep right, try sidestep left. If it doesn't work to either direction, well, you got your answer. You can't step that string. You just have to take it and see what it is on block. And then try to go from there. So, there are ways to circumvent strings in this game that so many players are unfamiliar with. And that includes blocking and punishing, ducking the highs in the strings, and sidestepping the annoying parts in the strings. Like, those are the three main ways to beat string pressure. So many players do strings, stop letting them do that. Kill them for it by doing the shit that I'm telling you about. So, another thing I gotta say is a lot of blue rank players, this is kind of the next lesson we're moving on to, is a lot of blue ranks and everybody below blue ranks, big time, love to try to force the win. Forcing the win is a huge issue for so many fucking people. I have seen, just today, I watched 10 purple rank matches and 10 blue rank matches after the 10 green, yellow, and orange rank matches and red rank matches that I watched. I watched 10 of each color, okay? From people all over the world. 2 different players all over the world. And every single one of those matches, I am not exaggerating, every single one, somebody would have a health lead of like 50, 60 health points. And their opponent has got like a pixel of health left. And the person with the health lead runs up and tries to finish the round. When they're that, like, they're so far away. They're like, the distance is like over here. Like, this is where the guy that's in the lead is. I've got all my health. My opponent has a pixel of health. And I run in and I try to do something. That's forcing the win. That is overextending. What does that end up doing? I watched 2 players specifically get killed for doing that in the match reviews that I watched, the replays that I watched. 2 of them. In blue ranks, for fuck's sakes. Overextending, forcing the win. You guys need to stop doing that. You're killing yourselves, for fuck's sakes. There is zero reason when there's a timer counting down and you have the health lead that you should then engage when you're that far away. Let them come to you. Let them put themselves at risk. Because they're the ones that are losing. They have no choice but to approach you, right? They want to win just as badly as you do. Their goal is to rank up. So why are you letting them do that? You're playing into their hands. Let them play into your hands because you've got the fucking health lead. You have the positioning advantage. What? The timer is going down. You got less than 20 seconds on the fucking clock. What are you doing throwing it all away just because, what, you want to press buttons? Like, are you fucking stupid? So stop doing that shit. Overextending and forcing the win is such a massive problem with blue rank players, and I can't believe I'm saying that. Blue rank players are supposed to be high fucking ranked players, and in Season 2 they are. Like, I genuinely believe that Fujin ranked players in Season 2 are much, much, much stronger now than they were in Season 1. Fujin rank in Season 1 was a fucking joke. It was an absolute joke. It was an insult to that rank as far as I'm concerned. Because in Tag Tournament 1, in Tekken Tag Tournament 2 and Tekken 7, if somebody was a Fujin player, you could rest assured they're probably a fucking god at the game. Especially in Tag 2. Less so in Tekken 7, they were probably just a really high-level player, fucking advanced as shit. But regardless, they were super, super fundamentally compact and well-rounded players that had a lot of knowledge about the game. In Season 1 of Tekken 7, or Tekken 8, Fujin players had no fucking clue what they were doing. They were average players at best. The rank discrepancy is absurd in Season 1. In Season 2, they've kind of ironed that out a little bit. It's a little bit harder to rank up unless you can get win streaks going. And if you're stuck in mid-purple ranks, it's very hard to get a win streak if you're not very able to beat most purple rank players. If you're genuinely a purple rank player, you're not really going to get a 3 to 6 win streak in those ranks, right? Those win streaks belong to players that are above the rank that they currently are. So, it's harder to rank up now than it was in Season 1, by quite a bit, I think. So Fujins are back to being somewhat decent Tekken players, which is why I can't possibly understand why everybody seems to still want to force the fucking win for no reason. Like, cut that shit out. If you have the health lead, fuck off. Let them come to you. That brings me to my next point, timing mix-ups. Sometimes, you want to just get in their face. Get in their face, do nothing, then see what happens. Get in their face, down 4-2, see if they're going to counter hit launch. Get in their face, sidestep, down 4-2, get in their face, sidestep, electric. Timing mix-ups. Super important thing to know. Like, you have to be able to mix up your timing. If you're plus, it's okay. Don't always take the plus frames, because sometimes they're going to do, like, if you try to jab there, for example, sometimes they're going to do something that's going to high crush you and kill you. Because they're panicking, because they're at minus, they know they're at minus, so the best thing for them to do in that scenario is to either, like, arm remove or do an evasive tactic that's like a panic tool that will get them out of dodge fast, and you're playing into their hands by just pressing immediately after you've got those plus frames. Condition your opponent to make them understand that you mixed up your timing. You don't press at the exact same time every time you go to press a button. Timing mix-ups in blue ranks is so fucking crucial. Trying to steal your turn back constantly is a big no-no in blue ranks, so cut that shit out. It's not a good thing to have in your repertoire. Stealing your turn back, especially if you're a freaking Mishima player. If you play Kazuya and you're getting hit and your go-to response is to heat burst, stop it. Kazuya is not the type of character that is good at stealing his turn back. He's not. It's not part of his design at all. He's got virtually no panic tools except for this. And it's only a high crusher. He's also got this. But he only gets 2 uses of it in heat and then it's over, right? So he doesn't really have any panic tools at all. So what are you trying to do? Pretending this guy's got fucking panic tools. Stop heat bursting to steal your turn back when it's not your fucking turn and you're -6, for fuck's sakes. Unbelievable, man. The other thing I want to just mention real quick is baiting the opponent. So, baiting the opponent and the concept of hard reads, these are very high level tactics at this point. I mean, everything we've talked about at blue ranks so far is pretty high level shit. Like, this is stuff that everybody should be learning at blue ranks, I think. Before then, it's okay if you don't know how to bait the opponent. But, for example, in my streams, often I will drop an electric. I'll go for electric, and the occasional time I'll get a down 2. So what I decided to do was be like, fuck, you know what? Down 2 is coming out every now and again when I drop my electrics. So let's just mash 2 and see what happens. You have no fucking idea, up to gold ranks even, blue ranks, gold ranks, how many people will see that I whipped it down 2 and immediately try to attack. But this move recovers so fast, and I stay crouching, that I'm dodging a lot of the shit that they try to do, and then they just eat my fucking launch punishable mid launcher for breakfast. It's amazing how that works, but that's because it's a bait in tandem with a hard read. I know they're going to press because they love to press. As soon as I press a button, they love to press a button, and I press another button, they love to press another button, right? That's a pattern. So recognizing patterns by observing what's happening on the screen, calling out your opponent using a hard read, and baiting them with some bullshit. Baiting your opponent is great. It's another type of setup. It's like a parry setup. It's like doing down forward 3-1 into this shit. Down forward 3-1 into punch parry. Because a lot of players love to jab check when you're minus in their face, right? So I'm -6 after this is blocked. I do the jab or the punch parry. That's a setup that it comes in tandem with a hard read as well. I gotta know that my opponent wants to jab check me every time I'm minus in their face. Seems like they want to do that. Let's try setting up a punch parry. Oh, it worked. I got a wall splat. Now I got a full combo. Let's do this shit, bitch. Like down 2, same thing. While standing 2. Oh, they love to press after I whiff something. Down 2, while standing 2. They're gonna come up. They're gonna try to rush up, and if they don't dash block, they eat the while standing 2 for breakfast. I don't recommend doing that all the time. It's a launch punishable mid, and they're going to kill you for it eventually. But the fact that it works is because I am baiting them into attacking me, and I'm using the knowledge that I've gained over the course of the match to then call out their shit. And you can only really do a hard call out or a hard read if you're capable of identifying patterns and observing what's happening on screen. In other words, pay attention to your opponent's character, and that's it. If you're the type of person that looks at your character ever, then you're playing wrong. You're not playing correctly. You need to be looking at your opponent's character, and that's it. I already know what Kazuya looks like. I already know that his electrics look beautiful. I already know that his combos are sick. I don't need to look at Kazuya. It's like, if I'm in a fight in real life versus somebody else, do I need somebody to hold a mirror in front of me just to make sure that I know what I fucking look like when I'm in that fight? Fuck off! No, that's just ruining the fight. I'm about to get my ass kicked because I'm not looking at my opponent. I'm looking at my dumb ass. Stop looking at your character. Look at your opponent's character only. Check out the health bar once in a while. But the thing that you should be looking at all times is the opponent's character and sometimes the health bar. Sometimes. But even then, I highly recommend stay the fuck away from looking at the health bar. You don't need to do that. You can see it out of your peripherals. You can also fucking see that, you know, the health bar is a lot of the time the reason that you're getting killed. Because A, if you're looking at your health bar and you're seeing that you're low on health, you're gonna start to panic. That panic is gonna set in and you're gonna make mistakes. And that's because you decided to look at the fucking health bar instead of paying attention to the fucking match. So stop doing that. Those little details matter, man. They really fucking do. And all those things are going to encompass your ability to pay attention to the character, identify their patterns, then you can start baiting them out and making hard reads. And the more you pay attention, the more you recognize their patterns, the more you're going to be able to call out their shit. And understand their timing. And be able to bait their ass more. These things are high level concepts that you have to learn. And Blue Ranks is the perfect time to start learning that shit. If you're a Fujin, start learning that shit. And master all the other shit we've already talked about in this video. Because those things are almost... They are more important than the things we just talked about for Blue Ranks. But that's because you should already know all that other stuff by Blue Ranks, right? Alright, Gold Ranks. Tekken King, Tekken Emperor, Tekken God Supreme. Everything that I've talked about in this video thus far applies to all of us in Gold Ranks. Tenfold. All those things should be mastered by now. Your matchup knowledge is the thing that you need to focus on now. Everything else, fundamentally speaking, you should have down pat. Your matchup knowledge, though, that's something that obviously is going to take time. So that's going to require tightening everything up, obviously, right? So I'm on my journey now. I'm going to probably start playing Kazuya in Ranked again sometime soon on stream. My goal is to get to God of Destruction in the next couple of months here, and I'm sure I'll get to at least Tekken God pretty soon. I know I had it in Season 1, and now we're back to Tekken King in Season 2, and Tekken King is an extremely high rank now. In Season 1, again, like Fujin was, Tekken King was not necessarily a high rank. It was a lot of the player base had Tekken King. A lot of the player base. Now, Tekken King is like the top 6% of the player base. So, significant drop off. It was like top 10 to 11% of the player base in Season 1. So very, very significant discrepancy between those two seasons now. So gold ranks are a big fucking deal. Like if you've hit Tekken King and above, you should feel pretty proud. I know I do. And I know how much hard work it was to hit this rank, and how much hard work it's gonna be to try to get to Tekken God and God Supreme and all that shit. But my matchup knowledge isn't perfect. I struggle with the Azucena matchup knowledge. I don't necessarily know how to deal with all of her options out of Libertador stance. I don't necessarily know how to approach Azucena's lows when she's pressuring me with her low pokes. Lydia, I labbed the shit out of Lydia on stream the other day. I realized that after her forward 2, you can dick jab. And it beats out pretty much everything from her follow-ups aside from Horse 3. So, things like that are matchup knowledge concepts that you're going to have to ingrain into your brain so that you're able to rank up past Tekken King. Gold ranks are a slugfest, and so are blue ranks, but gold ranks are just, it's pros. Like, you're basically fighting pro-level players. High-level to pro-level players that are competing in tournaments and doing very well. So, honestly, just tighten everything up and get your matchup knowledge down pat. That's all I've got to say, really, about gold ranks. Your matchup knowledge needs to be fucking pristine at this point. The fact that I'm struggling at all with Lydia and Azucena at the moment and don't really have a whole lot of knowledge about Anna still just yet. I struggle sometimes knowing Clive's shit, but that's a lot of the problem there is just Clive in general. Point is, I shouldn't have those issues at Tekken King, and I do. And I'm ashamed of myself because I do, but I'm going to fix them. I'm going to spend some time in practice mode in the next little while, and I'm going to lab the shit out of those characters and figure out exactly what the fuck to do, and how to circumvent their offense so I can rank up easier and more efficiently. So, and gold ranks up to Tekken God Supreme, that's what you should be focusing on, is just cleaning up your matchup knowledge. And of course, the final thing we're going to talk about is God of Destruction and above. There are players in God of Destruction and God of Destruction 1, 2, 3. I think that's the highest rank right now. Like, there's currently, as of the making of this video, for Season 2 Tekken, we might have a God of Destruction 4, maybe, by now. But I'm pretty fucking sure that the highest rank at the moment is God of Destruction 3. So, GOD 3 is, considering that that's the highest rank in the world right now, it just goes to show how insane being a God of Destruction and above is right now. So if you are a God of Destruction and above, this video isn't really for you. But I hope you learned something from it. I don't know if I don't know if I'm even capable of teaching God of Destruction level players anything. They probably know a fuck ton more about this game than I do. Especially in Season 2. It's 10 times harder to make GOD in Season 2 than it was in Season 1. And there are players that are GOD 1, GOD 2, GOD 3. Those are the consistently top-aiding, high level, pro-level players that just... Or they play a bitch character like Clive or Hwarang or Anna or some shit, right? You know, but, you know, I'm digressing. They're the highest level players in the world, pro-level players. And, they've achieved God of Destruction level status in Season 2. Like, you're a god at this game. You really are. And we should see you in tournaments in top 8s. If you're GOD 1 and you don't compete in tournaments, what the fuck are you doing? You would kill people in tournaments. So, start competing, unless there's no tournaments near you. Then that sucks, because I understand how that feels, because I have that problem. I don't live by any tournaments or locals or anything like that. I have to drive like 5 hours to find one locals anywhere near me. It's bullshit. Well, yeah, that's all I gotta say, really, about this ranked video. It was a fucking long bitch. There was a lot to talk about. There's a lot of information that I put in this shit, but I really wanted to nail it all down pat to make sure that everybody knows where they stand. Again, let me reiterate. If you are at a specific rank, and I'm talking about things that you have no concept of, you have no idea how to do that stuff. Like, oh, I'm a Fujin, but I don't know how the fuck... I can't consistently do my best staple combo with my character, and I don't know consistently where the wall is in the stages, and I don't know how to duck strings. That's not my problem. Good for you for making Fujin before you deserved it, in other words. I don't think you deserve that rank unless you're able to do all the shit I've already talked about before that rank. But that's Tekken 8. Tekken 8 is bullshit. It's going to give out ranks for free, and that's what it fucking does a lot of the time. A lot of the time, it's because of the character you use. Some characters offer free wins up the ass, because no one knows how to fight against them, and they're very easy to play. That's like a catch-22. Like what is that? Not a catch-22. It's like a fucking double-edged sword. No, it's not a double-edged sword either. What the fuck is the saying? It's like a win condition for you. You know, you're using an easy character that no one knows how to fight. Oh yeah, you're gonna dominate until the ranks that really start to kick the shit out of you. And then you're gonna hit a wall. And then you're gonna wonder why you've hit that wall. And then you're gonna click on this video, and you're gonna realize, holy fuck, I don't know anything about this game. I gotta put my fucking bootstraps on and let's fucking learn this bitch. Because I don't want to be a Fujin or a Raijin forever. I don't want to be a stuck in Mighty Ruler forever. I want to get out of red ranks one day, you know, like something like that. This is a guide that I think describes... I think I did a pretty thorough job of explaining every little thing in regards to Tekken basics and fundamentals, all the way up to like the high-level shit that people need to learn. So, yeah, I'm pretty sure I went over almost everything. Besides, like, character-specific details. That's about it. So that's it for me. I'm done. Holy fuck, that was a lot of work. A lot of research, a lot of talking, a lot of fucking editing gonna be happening right now after I finish this video part. And, I'll see you guys on stream next time. So, Hope it helped. Hope people learned something. Keep rocking out and keep gaming.